Go live. Perfect. All right, everybody, if you're just tuning in, happy Mother's Day. Also, happy Sunday to everybody. Hopefully you guys are all doing fantastic. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. If you're curious about what you're watching here or what you're about to watch, this is my masterclass that we've put up. Shout out to everyone who's helping. We've got a lot of staff now helping. We have Sarah who's recording, AJ, Jeannie. Thank you guys so much for recording. Marianas and Anita for the back end help. It's been immense. It's been amazing, the help that all of you guys have provided. I'm excited about this. This has never been done in the community before. The goal of this is that we will play around, and then I'll be recording that said round. Afterwards, we're going to break down all the decision making, the good, the bad, the ugly, positive, areas we can improve upon. All of that's going to be covered. So that is the goal of this course. The first round might be a little wonky. We're still getting people joining into the server. Once everyone joins in, then we could be pretty much good to go. You might hear some of the back end work with us just trying to set things up. While we have a staff, we are still a smaller group at the same time. If you saw yesterday's stream, this is a day 2. It's the similar format, just going again for a second day. So hopefully everyone will hop into those lobbies. Trying to figure out, there's a lot of people who verified that they're good, but we do need more people to hop in. Could do is also post it into the Discord maybe, because I know there's a lot of holes, and just have people just hop into their slots. It might be different otherwise. Let me see if I can. Maybe we can get some viewers that can hop in. Maybe we can just put the code in chat.
Yo.
Is this your lobby? Yes, it is. So question or thought, what if we just posted one of the Discords or something, like my Discord above, and just have people just hop in? Now they won't be able to join in the Q&A portion or anything like that, but it definitely will fill it out.
If you do that right now while there's 40 people watching your stream, that might be okay. If you do that later when there's 400, that's going to be a train wreck.
True.
Like, we've got 6 slots and there's more than 6 people watching your stream.
Yeah, we have 1,
So-
2, 3, 4, 5,
Okay,
6,
we've got 7 or
8, 9,
but
10, 11, 12. We have 12 slots. But we had more people verify than 12 slots. Maybe they're just having issues connecting. Maybe they're just
Right. That's what I mean. Like, there should be a few more people coming in still.
Yeah. That's why I added everyone, told them to join up into the server. It isn't quite 12:05. They have about 5 more minutes based on the run of show. But yeah. All right, we'll give it another 5 minutes and then we'll try to fill it up is the goal. Granted, they won't have like Discord access, but you know, we'll see where that can go. I definitely would like a full lobby, so then it helps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think having a full lobby is definitely better, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely open to it. We just need to, like, not just post the code. You know what I mean? It's like,
You want to hop
first come,
back up
first serve
and
kind of thing.
you want to come back in 4 minutes and then we'll decide what to do.
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. Sweet. All right, everybody. We're hanging tight right now. We still have more people joining in, so I'm just making sure we got all our peeps in before we actually post the code. Be pretty much right before we go live with it. I don't want to just post the code. These, by the way, these individuals are paying for their seat and everything. Granted, it's not crazy expensive. It's $1 an hour essentially, so it's not like it's crazy expensive at all. The goal was to keep this course very cheap and also guarantee a slot. So I want to make sure that people don't lose their spots or anything. We still got 4 minutes before we do start. So if you're just tuning in, you can, my voice crack. If you're just tuning in, I was in day 1. I can fill for day 2 if needed. That would be fantastic, Kina, actually. We'll see where the holes are, and we can definitely look into that, and our admins can assign roles and get people in for day 2. Because it's Mother's Day, so it's a little trickier. What server is this? We're in a custom lobby. Okay, we're slowly filling up. We're getting there. 417. Who's in team 17? Let me take a look. Team 17. Zars and Argy Okay. I haven't seen them, even though they paid. Let's see here. I'm trying to add them again. Okay, Nano join. Trying to start in 3 minutes or close to it. There we go. There's another person. I don't know if Argy Master is going to show up. Kina, I am going to go in and get you in for Argy Master since you were here yesterday. I would like to have that squad at least be full. Because I don't think that person's going to show up. And you were here yesterday, so you know how it goes. Can you DM me on Discord? Okay, I'm going to assign you a role in Discord. Let's see here. We're doing it live, ladies and gentlemen. We're just filling up the server. We're just seeding it, trying to get everything situated. Can you type in main chat? Your name does not. Trying to grab them. Day 2 code is in server. Okay, perfect. All right, we're filling up. I gave a code to somebody from yesterday who was supposed to be a part of day 2, but it now isn't. So I put him in terms of Argy Master's spot because we've yet to see that individual. So I went ahead and did that one because that makes a whole lot of sense. So I was like, okay, we could do that. I was like, that one makes sense. That's an easy fill-in, you know? We're missing...
We're only missing 7 now, which is good. And assuming, well, one person, actually, we're only missing 6 now because Kina hadn't joined a team yet.
Okay.
So, I mean, honestly, like, at this point, we could just break up the fillers and we'd be okay unless you do have other people coming. Oh, wait, somebody's typing. Are they in here yet? We might have one more. No, wait, he's here already.
I guess he's typing to Uncle B. He was here yesterday.
Yeah.
We could break up the fillers.
3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there'll still be a team of 2, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think that works. I think that's what we'll do for this round, at least to give maybe those people who paid for their slots time.
Yeah, and then, like, if they show up for game 2, they can jump in, kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Actually, somebody filled in, I think. Okay, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, somebody's jumping around.
Okay, got
between teams.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go tell Nessa, Adam, Anita, and Junior that we're gonna split up.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Got it. Yep.
And then we'll be good to go.
Perfect. Perfect. Hey, Con, it's good to see you, man. I didn't even get any warm-up games in. It's okay. It's all good. Don't worry. We're about to get started. We're going to have a few teams not full, but that's okay. Maybe more people will show up. It is Mother's Day. That we knew that today was going to be a little trickier, but still there's a lot to teach if the lobby still has at least 18 squads, so there's something to teach there. Not as worried. So we're filling it up. We're putting people where they need to go. And I don't know if we had anybody else who could fill in right now. I just want to give those a chance that paid for their slot to be a part, you know? I don't want to have people have, you know, codes and then hop in and then it'd be difficult to figure out who from the group shouldn't be here, you know? That's always tricky. All right, but we're getting started just to kind of give a rundown of what everything is. This is a Masterclass course, meaning people paid for their slots here. What happens is they play around, we debrief afterwards, we break everything that was positive, that was negative, not really negative, things that we can improve upon overall. Kind of get a flow of the lobby. This will kind of, I guess with 18 squads, this will at least get people a chance to find their own POI. It's going to be shocking if individuals kind of force themselves into a fight early on, because at that point, you really need to fight per se, right? And then we'll see next round if people, because some people say that they're going to be late, and we'll have like oh, Hollow is hopping in. Okay. That's the last slot right there. If we can get Hollow in, not Sore Hollow, but a different Hollow that can be in Team 12. Okay. Excuse me. Since we have to start and I want to stay on schedule, we're going to start with this first round and then we'll start to put fillers in. There we go. Looks like they're all set. Okay. All right, I think we're good to go. I'm going to check with Mari real quick. See where he's at. What team is he part of now? Okay, let's see here. Let's make sure he's good to go. And then we'll start. But I'm excited. I'm excited, guys. Sorry for some of the delay here at the start. We're pretty close on time, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, perfect. All right, let's give a start. Okay, so we'll be pretty much spectating everything. We're gonna provide as many tips as possible. I'm gonna be recording my side, so whenever we break things down, and then we go. I'm excited. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for being a part. Hopefully everything's good. Hopefully the servers stay toasty. Hopefully everything is good. It says connect. Okay. Whew. Always scary when we're connecting to the lobbies in the match. I know more people are going to be showing up into the next round because we had a few participants that might be running late because it is Mother's Day. It is Sunday. I understand those that have other obligations. It's perfectly fine. We had a few cancellations as well last minute, but we do our best to fill up. Spectate the lobby. Give as many tips as possible, and we'll break it all down. And then we'll cover everything again. It kind of seems like it's redundant, but keep in mind those that paid for the seats haven't really heard how they played and what we're looking at, so that's going to be the overall goal. But luckily, what will happen is hopefully teams at the start won't drop on each other, and they'll take some time to hopefully rotate. If they do drop on each other, that'll be crazy, because it's 18 teams, right? If you don't see a full lobby, you start to adjust your strats a little bit. He will teach them all at once. We're going to be hopping into a massive Discord group, and then after the fact, for a full hour, we'll be doing Q&A, answering all questions from each individual participant. So they all get questions, they all get time. Yesterday we ended stream early, and I sat down with everyone for like an hour and 15 minutes. So it was a lot of fun. It was a good breakdown. You'll see it live, at least the portion where they play the round, and then we break down the round afterwards. And then another round breakdown, and then the last section is sat with them, and they get the full hour one-on-one. They get to talk to me directly, and then if they sign up for the additional coaching, we go from there. But it's a big undertaking, but because they're in the round specifically, and also because we're doing this first commentary and they go back in the VOD, there's a lot to learn from there. Okay, so at least we have only one duo squad, but it was interesting. Just because you play as a duo doesn't mean that it's all over. It doesn't mean that you're not going to win. One of the duos yesterday actually got third place overall. So it's not the end of the world as long as you play your positioning well and you know where you're going to loot. Make sure, here's another tip, make sure you know where loot is. So Toast is landing on the low ground. Imagine there was a team on height. While this is good loot, you want to always prioritize the height over everything. I know that's very nitpicky, but your loot pattern at the very start is very important. So yes, you can climb all the way up this way, but what if a team rotates over quickly towards you? Then that's going to be troublesome. We got a lot of POIs on the soft side that are open. Two teams that look like they want to contest one another as well. We do have a few teams over in Geyser, and it looks like everyone's kind of breaking off. So the first part should be relatively slow for the most part. which is good. It kind of gives teams a minute to loot and actually think about the rotation. So honestly, 18 squads is really not that bad, especially for teaching. Yesterday we had some teams landing on each other. At least this way kind of gives some of them a bit of room to breathe. So here's an example of where to go whenever there's loot, right? There's a lot of loot in the main area that you can see here, which is always really, really positive to kind of land. We did break up some of our fillers as well. Marianas actually helped organize the event with me. He's actually participating today, so he's hopping in. Now, granted, we've done our best to balance these squads, which is why yesterday everything worked out really, really well. So the center of the map is pulling here, but there's not a lot of individuals there located yet. One of the biggest tips that we provided yesterday is to making sure that everyone prioritize zones so they don't get caught out. Because in these lobbies, everyone plays a lot more respectfully because, well, they assume players are of equal skill level. If you know what Realm GG is, we kind of balance based on their current rank, and I'm very happy to report that it actually worked out very well, how we actually balanced out the lobbies accordingly. And because we randomize it, we don't let the teams get comfortable per round. Every single round is going to be randomized, so that's pretty exciting, a lot of fun as well. So if you guys are watching in chat and curious on what you're watching, this is a Dazs Masterclass. What we're going to do is play around, and then everyone hops in afterwards, and we discuss everything that happened, and everything that was good in the round that we can improve upon. Were rotations? Could you have taken that fight? Did you need to take that fight? And round one looks like it's already coming to a close here. Now this team has a hard rotation in that we're seeing, as well as the edge. This is the hard part when you run edge, and you have to keep in mind. If you are a team that does not want to run edge, let's say you are legends that take longer to get into zone, it's always better to play towards center. Lava, Harvester, Lava Siphon, Fragment. That's why you see a lot of pro teams really prioritize that, right? If you're running edge comp, then you want to make sure you're running a comp like this, where you don't have a defensive legend per se, but Seer can work very much defensively to hold off teams because of their ultimate ability. They hear the team that's fighting in trials and they're considering fighting it. Keep in mind this is a risky fight, mostly because the zone is already closing, and by the time they go to zone, when you look at the upper right, you'll notice that the lobby isn't necessarily dying out early. Everyone is pretty much taking their time, looting, doing what they need to do, but they're not necessarily prioritizing the zone. So, but it is an isolated fight. This is an isolated fight if they wanted to do that. So they don't have too much to worry about. Nothing too negative to report on that end. Now, they're stealing everything. Keep that in mind. Grabbing all their loot. So it is a strat. I mean, now the other team is aware of their presence. Now, if they take some early shots, definitely once they count it down. If you see the enemy has target on you, don't be afraid to start taking some shots. So they're taking some shots. Early damage. Ooh, good crack right there. Now there's the ult for utility to see even get them out. They rotate it around. Utility has been used, so either they go on that crack or not. So the biggest advice whenever you're trying to go for at least some damage and go for a push, if you get a crack, that's a full sign to start moving your way in because you have the advantage. If you wait too long, by this point, the bat probably was already gone off. And of course, this team is just trying to book it. They don't necessarily want to fight. And now that they have space, they can hold them off. This team, I know, actually has a Masters player in the squad, but it is balanced out. So just because you have a Masters player in the squad doesn't always mean that you're going to win, that the fight is necessarily going to be easy. It's always a... Oh, it looks like them taking roof. They definitely want this fight, and they definitely want to engage on this. But the other team just isn't really giving them much room to breathe. They're definitely playing it smart, and they're going to zone. There's only so much they can really chase, though. And of course, hitting a Bangalore is only going to increase that movement speed. So as we see teams start to go into zone and start to move in, we notice, oh, here's might be a good fight. The Seer ult is down. See if they're able to make a play here. Because the Seer ult is down, they're going to have to play it pretty patiently. The other team, they essentially don't want to get caught out, and they know if they slow it down by crouching and everything that they won't get picked up on the scanner. And once that Seer ult is down, that's always a sign for the other team that, you know, you're kind of in trouble, knowing that, okay, well, we don't have our utility anymore. Good nade in there, might be able to do some damage. Oh, big damage there from the nade. That might be pushable. Only 8 until they upgrade their armor. One person did run away as a rat who's getting shot at right now. Having to rotate into zone, kind of sandwiched in the middle. Fragment is a tough spot to really fight. It looks like they're going in on this. This is a scan. Let's go and watch this team. They definitely have the armor advantage right now. They just have to go in on this. This is a new POI. The POI is newer. So because it's newer, it can be a lot more intimidating to push because you know less about the area. The only thing you could do about that area is just kind of take your time and really pay attention, right? All right, so when we see here, we see a good breach. We see different angles being approached. taking cover right behind the computers right there. The Maggie Ball did do a lot of damage, unfortunately. Now it's time for the most healthy person to kind of to push in, and Nessa is going to heal up. Let's see Gufondo if he's able to make a play. One person can definitely take the outside of the building and then decide to push in if that's what they wanted to do. They are all together there, and they're starting to put some pressure. See if they can get that pressure that they're looking for. You got to be careful because they might get run up on. Another team's about to rotate onto them. But it's all about that timing, right? This is the first real fight of the lobby, and they're getting thirded. Now they probably need to back out as fast as possible, knowing that they got third-partied. Remember, if a fight takes too long, it's always best to just get out, essentially. And the plus side, at least here, is that they do have a lifeline, and lifeline does give them the ability to get their banners back. So there is that plus side. But because there's, let's take a look at the rest of the fight here. This is going to be one big push on a lobby. The rest of the lobby is definitely going to keep showcasing themselves. There's another C-Rolt. Team 5, like we said, rotated in late. But because they heard the fight, they're going to shove this. They have plenty of time to take this out. They got them all on scan. We're seeing more Sears today than we did yesterday. Solid cleanup. Didn't lose any life so far. They got to make sure they stay alive. Another team is close by, but ratting. So that's where we saw a lot of action take place. And we see a team also fighting here, but not necessarily pushing quite yet. Remember, if your fight just takes too long, oh wow, they were in it. They got an early knock there. That pretty much means that they should push, and it looks like they decided to opt for the rotation. It looks like they're going to try to craft the banner instead. They backed out of that very, very quickly. At least in this lobby, you do have a little bit more time to loot and craft. They can definitely go outside his zone and craft. He's got 4 syringes to his name, looking at that inventory slot there. So it does have the ability to craft. Hopefully maybe at, let's see, where the realistic can craft. Thermal is really the furthest one. It's going to be tough because that zone is really going to hit pretty hard. We see Anita playing with a duo squad with Ina. Ina yesterday played extremely well and had a lot of questions about how to secure spaces of Watson. Watson is very, very difficult legend to play because of trying to occupy that space and having the foresight of where teams are going to be located from and how they're going to play overall. We have one team holding height, big mod. We know that it's going to pull towards the right side of the map, probably this area, give or take. Not necessarily a bad area. We do have a team in it right here. They got the full reset. There's the push. That wide swing definitely was going to cost that ballistic. That's a really good example of a wide swing pretty much gone wrong. Whenever you wide swing and you're going right into a full team, notice that this team has their crosses. And as long as Let Me Out can at least get a little bit of a reset. And there's the cleanup on that squad. It was a good push. It was a good try. That wide swing out, though. Even though they had the damage, maybe if they climbed up height, if they kind of pushed it together, they were able to isolate the 1v1 slowly but surely. It's really what pulled out ahead and managed to get them that play. So it looks like Gufondo is trying to come in, at least get some crafting done to craft the banners to get his team right back into the into play. We do have a team on the low ground here, which is a really hard spot to hold. So one thing to always keep in mind is where are the power plays and where do I want to go when I'm trying to hold spots. Now, underneath isn't necessarily bad, but you don't really have a lot of power to really fight. So we do have the team located up above. It's interesting to see, even though we have masters, more masters today in the lobby, how this still is, well, it's still difficult to see where you don't have somebody just running away with the lobby. You have teams still putting pressure. We have teams going into zone. We have teams ballooning in for rotation. A lot of the north side is still available. Let's see if anybody has the information on the zone. Nobody has. Okay, the information looks like it's going to pull. Yeah, it was pulling right around here. It's probably going to pull there. Most of it is going to be mostly the edge of the map, unfortunately. All right, we're going to have a lot of coexisting. A lot of coexisting. All right, let's take a look. We'll hold tight. Everyone is just getting into zone at this point. Notice how there's still 14 squads. Even though we started off with only 18, this lobby is playing very respectfully and occupying space because nothing is easily pushable. And by the way, don't forget to drink water, even though if you're casting or watching. Water is very, very helpful, so be sure to drink some water. Alrighty. Excuse me. Alright, Gufondo's the only one left in the squad trying to keep it alive. He can't really craft anybody, which makes it pretty hard. This is a downside if a lobby is really strong, that you pretty much have no area to really craft banners. It can be very, very difficult. And the zones will start to really hurt. We see most of the damage happening here, but most teams are coexisting, not pushing, because there's 3 teams in this area. A lot of teams are taking this very, very seriously. I'd almost say that teams are playing a little bit too respectfully. It was a good fence there, at least to hold them off. Now's the moment to res when that arc star's out. Res, res, res. You got the gas canister. Can they res? Caustical. Really got to res. You got to res. You got to res. A little greedy with a caustical, but nonetheless, nobody's resing still. That utility really lets you reset. Let's see if they manage. I think one of my biggest tips here would already be the reset. The reses have to happen faster. If you don't see anybody doing the res, you need to take it upon yourself to potentially do the res instead. Because caustic is really hard to breach. And that ult, you could have thrown at the angle. I guarantee you they probably wouldn't have pushed it. Because even if they tried, there's the fight. What happened sooner was definitely just getting that res off sooner. And they definitely would have had a hard time breaching. That caustic ult definitely put him out in the open. If you just threw it right around the corner and let it bounce off the wall just a little bit, you didn't need a whole as much space as you thought to secure. There's one of the reses from, I think this is the, yeah, this is Nessa's team. They managed to reset. Look at that. They're back in the game. What's interesting here is that if you see a lobby playing out this slow and you're playing ranked, I know in ranked right now you just need top 10, right? Top 10 is really key. We got mass hysteria happening over here. We have the team just kind of chilling inside right now, waiting, and you have teams all rotating, trying to go for height, trying to rotate, trying to get out, trying to reset, doing the best they can. Really tough rotation to get in here. There's still 12 squads remaining. If this was current rank system, they're still not going up RP. Dazs needs to be sponsored by water. I agree. I would love to be sponsored by water. Could you imagine a water company sponsoring me? That would be astronomical. That would be insane. So this is still pretty doable for this squad, by the way. They're crafting. They don't have to push in yet, but they're going to create a sandwich here. A lot of teams, at least they got a little bit of a reset here. Not a lot of resources, but at least they're back in the game, right? That's the beauty of having a support legend. You're down bad, but you know what? It's okay. As long as one person gets away, you can reset and try again. Support legends are almost, I almost feel like it's mandatory, especially in the current system. It just guarantees you at least top 10 if you just go for the banners after maybe an attempt that just isn't as successful. Now, I know we haven't been looking at a lot of action here. Nobody's really contesting because look how many teams are nearby. We got quite a few teams all within a certain level, all trying to play pretty patiently. Now, the downside of these teams is that they're not really focus firing one area. I do appreciate that Team 16 here is occupying the roof and holding space and not letting anybody necessarily run up on them. But we got a fight located here. Good spray. It looks like we have a 1v2 or 1v1. Now there's a moment to wide swing that. You have that. Got to go for it. And there's the cleanup by I'm Scraps. He has the ability to save his team. The other team here decided not to push onto that third party. They're about to get thirded, though. This is a team with low resources. Look how they push this. Let's see if they're able to make a solid play and push here. As they duck back and forth, there's a C-roll to counter. One has gone down. Two, this is not looking good. That team was in shambles, by the way. That team was not looking solid, but it looks like they are being able to get a solid reset now, and they're getting their lifeline right back up. This is a team. Oh, shoot. We gotta hold off there. You got to grab that armor swap. That's a really risky play because one of them was still up. Now they got to shove it together. They got to go together. If they can, that would be ideal. Just to go finish that. You got to finish that quick because you have the advantage. Don't let them get away from you at this point. Even though the res is important, it's more important just to clean that up. Jumped around the rampart wall there. Unfortunately, did more damage. Hopefully, they don't get shot out in the open. They got to push them down, get them to a safer spot. Oh my gosh, I'm surprised nobody's looking at them right now. That was a solid play. Remember, you're never down and out. This is a really good example of a team that was in shambles, now is in top 10. If this is the current rank system, they'd be going up RP. Pretty solid play. And they're back in it. They have all the loot in the world now. Let's take a look. What happened there? Team's getting knocked. They're about to get sandwiched. Everyone's focusing them. The south side of the map is very free right now. This is going to be really, really rough hold. Chokes are really hard to hold. Now, the tip I would provide for choke holds right here is you have to clear out your back. If you know there's a team located there, you have to fight them. And you know, the reason why I say you have to fight them is because it's really inevitable that you're going to run into them regardless. If the zone pulls this way, they're going to be shoved right into you. So it's better if you push when it's on your terms rather than on an opponent's team's term, right? Solid plays. I'm glad to see that teams are really holding it together. Still 8 squads for the zone, by the way. Things are about to get really messy. At this point, it's never good to hold center zone, so you're not the center focus. It's best to hold edge. Watch your back. Make sure you don't get thirded on. Secure space where it's important, and play patient. His team has a rough spot to get in, but they could definitely play the low ground. But like I said, they're going to have to kind of push their way in, and they're getting picked on from multiple angles. One of them does go down, unfortunately. They do find space inside. Hopefully the Seer can get back up, and then hopefully get rezzed by the lifeline. It's definitely a slow crawl. I don't think the zone is going to be as forgiving. Unfortunately, they do go down, but at least they can get their spot. The banner means that they probably can't even res. It's not even worth it at this point. His team's journey has been very interesting to follow across the board. Let's take a look at the team up here. They're picking on each other, but they're not committing. They're taking a look at that damage, and they're waiting for a play to really occur. We got another zone closing. Still 8 squads. Only one person went down. That was the one person we were spectating. This choke isn't a bad spot to be in. Now, they did occupy this little spot here for now, but they're all going to have to move. So they have to secure their backs and push and secure space best they can and try to get cracks. We did see one team go down. Unfortunately, I did miss that, but that's okay. These things happen, especially when we're trying to spectate. Educate everyone as much as possible. They're going to break things down. There's a lot of people coexisting here. As they move in, this is going to be the biggest cluster ever. This is what happens a lot. And so you probably ask the question, what can I do in this scenario? Well, you try your best not to be in these scenarios. You don't want to be stacked up. You want to be the last team to move in. So whatever geometry you can use to be the last team to rotate in so you don't get shot by everybody is going to be ideal. These teams are more focused on each other, and these teams are all stacked. You got one at the base, one in the center, one on the 3rd floor, and one on the roof. You literally have a full apartment building of people as if it's New York City. Pretty rough situation here. And really, realistically, what we're going to have to wait on is to see where things go from here. All right, let's take a look. Let's hold tight. Let's wait. The calm before the storm, ladies and gentlemen. Taking out that ult means that they can get naded from all angles. Excuse me. Good counter back. Good recoil control of Mokad. Mokad has fantastic aim, by the way. Just from what I've seen him do, I know that he has really, really great aim. But aim and everything isn't everything, as you can tell. Sometimes it's about the positioning and about waiting. You see how they're holding this spot right here? They're in no rush to push anything. Their focus fire is this team right here. This team has to be the focal point where they have to get away. They could honestly hold that wall, but it looks like they're trying to get aggro here instead. Let's take a look at what they decide to do. They have a different angle point here. They didn't want to get shot from the other side, so they definitely decided to wait. Now let's take a look at the teams that are trying to rotate in. The mass chaos. Remember I said you don't want to be first, you don't want to be last. They're trying to res, trying to reset. They do go down. These lobbies are very, very intense. The teams that were more likely to survive are the ones that we watched. These teams were definitely going to get picked on because look where they all died. Because of where they had to rotate from. That's really hard. It's why when you saw, I guess the best example I can give, when TSM won their championship, right? When they rotated in, they moved before the chaos occurred. So any way they can move to get rid of the chaos or be preemptive and trying to find some space is the only thing you really can do. And it could be scary because you have to really do it as one big unit. And keep in mind, what you're seeing here, these teams are randomized. These are random players. How do you adjust quickly with random teammates? And what can you do? Love seeing a lot of the Watsons in play here today as well. Look at the angles that they're taking. Looking for space. Trying to hold the spot. Wow, a lot of damage on Mokad's part there. Fantastic damage across the board. Putting a lot of pressure not only on one team, but multiple teams. Now all they got to do is play patiently. And the one thing I want to highlight that this player is doing is taking off angles. He's by himself, but he's taking angles and letting the teammates act as entry and support, where you see Advantage playing more of a support and the Seer holding an off angle and keep pinpointing where they see opponents. so they can get their angles, so they can take their shots. Notice that the Vantage is focused there, trying to get the shots off if they manage to peek. It is the last squad here. They're putting a lot of pressure on. They're not letting him move. That C-roll might have been a little bit too early based on the zone. I get where they wanted to put it, but they are holding them, and the Vantage has created an opening here. Nobody necessarily ran away with the lobby. We saw more damage done by some other squads earlier, but their patience has led them to success here. Some solid damage there as they hold, and it looks like this is going to be pretty much it. Cleaning it up, and we have Team 14 really come out ahead. Fantastic plays from the team. Dustin, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Really, really appreciate it. I know, right? Definitely popped off there, man. He was definitely great at putting pressure, finding angles for his team. It let the Vantage take the opening shots, find the opening kill, and everyone just kind of moved in. Thank you again, Dustin, for that. So what we're going to do is everyone's going to come to debrief now, and we're going to share my desktop, and we're going to go through the same round and discuss all the positives that we saw and provide some tips to everybody. There are some individuals who are long-term members of the community that I know. I'm going to go ahead and leave this lobby, because what we're going to do next is we're going to give a different code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my POV in just a second, and we're going to drag everyone over and discuss everything that happened. But a fantastic game. Everyone played pretty patient. There wasn't anybody who ran away with the lobby. Pretty balanced across the board, I have to say. There was a lot of respect, a lot of patience. I would even say some teams actually just need to fight for the positioning that they need. This is probably a big tip. So let's see, day 2, game 1. Okay. All right, so let's take a look here. 1 second. Hey, everyone's here. Hello, everybody. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do 720/30, so at least you can see as much as humanly possible. Let me change the stream, and then we're going to break down everything we saw. I did record everything. And if you want, you can also watch the stream. I will unmute some participants here and there. So the structure is we do a round. We're going to do a full debrief. So this is the current debrief that we're going to do. I'm going to pull up my phone just so I could see, and let's make sure everyone can hear me and everything is pretty solid here. So 1 second. Go ahead and type in the class participant chat. Let me know that you can hear me, that you can, oh, why did it turn black there? Oh, because of the round. Okay. That you can see the screen and everything. It turned black. I guess it was just loading. Okay, all good. I have a different solution from yesterday so I can see your chat. If you type a question in, I'll do my best to also answer that question. So now I have a different means. So I have a different monitor to kind of pay attention to things, okay? So I see everyone type, Hollow, Junior, appreciate you. Appreciate all of you guys. You guys probably noticed the lobby play pretty sweaty, right? So right off the rip, the first tip I'm going to provide for you guys, and just kind of, I'm going to nitpick quite a bit here and just really kind of post on things, and don't be shy about questions throughout here. Again, for people watching on YouTube, I'm prioritizing the guys who are here that participated. Now, I'm kind of picking on Toast here, but one of the biggest things is not to be on low ground when you're looting. What if another team showcased on height? Try to occupy more space on height. Always prioritize height rather than being on the low ground. Granted, I know the bins can sometimes have loot. Mocan, just be sure you mute your mic just in case, because I did give a few people permissions, but just as a heads up. But don't worry, you can unmute if needed, and I will ask questions from individuals on what their thought process was. One thing that I noticed that this happened today compared to others was you guys, if you look at the map here, you guys were a lot more spread out. Granted, there's not 20 squads, but at least I think it did help you guys at least get loot and then figure out how to rotate. So it actually kind of worked to the benefit. So then you had a moment to really to find your holding and your positioning. So that was pretty smart. I'm just glad to see that not everyone clustered into the same spot right away. You'll notice that zone still has a lot of open space, so there's still a lot of opportunities for early rotation. I actually find, even whenever, based on what we were learning yesterday, it's just how much space is actually in the center, and using your beacons. If you have a legend, a scan legend, you realize where zone is going, coincide that with your teammates hitting beacons, hitting consoles. I actually don't see a lot of people hitting consoles because I'm rotating through it. So that was something that I didn't see a lot from yesterday as well. So let's skip ahead just a little bit here. Teams were rotating. I do see a lot of respect in the lobby. Don't be afraid to take a fight if you can get some intro damage. Mari was definitely taking height, looking for opportunities. So I encourage you guys not to full send a lobby, but at the same time, I definitely want you guys to not be afraid to take space, and that's going to be a common theme. There's going to be a few teams I'm a nitpick that could definitely have done it, and at the very end, I'm definitely going to highlight what Mocad was doing. I'm going to have him explain to all of you guys what it means to occupy space, especially when taking an off angle. Because he did it really, really well at the end, and I think it's going to be a good educational moment, which is why I already have him unmuted, because I wanted him to kind of speak and teach the class. We do have a higher skill lobby than yesterday, by the way, than we did yesterday, but we did our best to balance, and as you can tell, nobody ran away with the lobby. There wasn't one team that rolled over everybody, and that's because shout out to Mari for the beauty of him balancing out. So shout out to the good work from the team behind the scenes. So to nitpick on this team, what happened as I'm spectating is I got to pretty much highlight all of the action, right? At least where the fights took place. One of the biggest things here, if you do damage, this is a great moment. I'm going to go ahead and pause this. If you do damage, this is your moment where your teammates have to push down. Because now you have a 3v2 scenario if that individual decides to bat. You put that there and you realize they're not batting because they're running, but there's a hesitation here. Hesitation is pretty much everything. If you realize how much time is passing, I'll show you. It was almost 10 seconds. So if you go forward, this is 10 seconds have passed. 5, 10, almost 15 by the time that crack happened. So 15 seconds have passed, meaning that they could have gotten their battery off. They are gone. And this team was pretty solid on the rotation, by the way, looking at how they were playing. If they decided to turn and shoot, it might have actually been detrimental to you guys. Granted, they prioritized going to zone and rotating rather than just kind of being in it. So kudos to them because at least they got more into zone. But for the team that was pushing, also I appreciate seeing the low but taking height here and taking angles to move forward. But remember, every moment that you hesitate, remember how, while it seems like the healing is slow in this game, 4 seconds is a lot of time to sit there and wait and not push. So if you're learning, if you want to say when do you push, it's those moments right there. I know it's scary, but somebody has to take the leap of faith if you have the advantage. Otherwise, why are you peeking from that angle to begin with? Now, another team that was fighting, this was Leonessa, Gufando, and Oval, is to always pay attention to how slow the lobby is dying and also how long a fight is taking place. If you realize the fight is taking way too long, and also at least one of them did get out because this team actually still managed to get above 10th place, and if we're looking at the current rank system, that really means that that there was a lot of success there. Another good example, there was a lot of damage that happened from nades here, about 60 damage, so that's a good moment to kind of push. And if your teammates don't push, you have to kind of make the play for them. We look at the poor little rat that's running away. I know that's tough. We didn't get to really capture the action of that fight. There's 2 fights that are happening simultaneously. We decided to prioritize this one for just the time being. But again, once you have that jump on that team and you realize that they're shooting and you have the opportunity, this is your moment to push. So we're going to break this fight down specifically between these 2 teams to realize the breach that could have happened. If you realize that if all 3 are going one angle and nobody's taking an off angle, Nessa decides to take an off angle here, which is fantastic to hold an angle. If you realize that they are taking an off angle and everyone's pushing the same side, this is a moment to ask yourself, can somebody jump out the window and push the opposite side here and get them stuck and pressure them into the stairs? Right now, because of the utility, they're gating you. So this is a great moment where technically Nessa could have gone here and flanked around and jump down, but anybody could have done it. You know, the Seer could have done it, the Valkyrie could have jumped down and said, okay, I'm going to go through the front door and put pressure. But this hesitation here on shooting from the same spot where they predict you're going to be, always trying to find a different angle to predict. Now, the reason why this fight, I said, took a little while is that if they realize that they're holding you off or they're putting a lot of pressure and you've gone through so many resources, this is where you get thirded. This time frame, if you want to understand how much time has passed, we go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. It took a whole minute for this fight to really break out. So because a whole minute passed, I guarantee you, especially when you're playing ranked, a full minute passing, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time to have to deal with. Oh, I was the cat. I blocked both doors down there. So that's a really good note. If you notice that the cat is blocking both doors and you're trying to take an off angle, that's a moment to say this fight's taking too long. Just pretty much leave it. I mean, it could be hard to push a cat team, but if you can't get them on the first go around in the first entry, then you just got to rotate and push. That's going to have to be your note. So one thing I'm doing differently, I'm keeping up with you guys in chat. So type of way if you say you have notes on what happened in the fight. Because the other team was taking so long, then of course what's going to happen, you're going to get run up on, even if you hold off the other team. So both teams have to decide when they want to leave and when the hold is no longer worth it. As at some point, you're going to get shoved whether you're the team holding there or not. We saw this team as well. They decided to make the option to leave and to res. If they're crossing, you could do one of two things in the scenario. Hold for your teammate. They opted for Scraps and Brute to go craft instead. That is an option if you didn't feel confident in the fight. But one thing you could do is hold the roof of the building and see if you can knock one so you can level out the playing field. There is that option to go for you guys. So we had mentioned that technically the reason this team actually, for Nessa, Gufando, and Oval, managed to make a play and get out was because they actually were able to, because they have a support legend. And because of that, they were able to rotate and actually find a play, which really, really helped in terms of securing endgame. Anita's a horrible player. I'm just kidding. She's not a horrible player. I'm just joking.
Tough crowd.
I know, tough crowd. No, Anita's great. You guys played very well as a duo here, by the way. Just because you're a duo doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Sometimes duos play better together. I tell you, in ALGS, I've seen some duos go further than some trios, and that's because the synergy is really, really strong together, because you're playing off each other and able to hold each other's angles. Now, the end zone here, one thing that one team could have done. Oh, let's focus on this. Okay, this is a fight we managed to capture late that I want to highlight. This is what we call a wide swing, right here. Now, granted, one was low, but the ballistic. Who is this ballistic? Does anybody know? Was this part of your team, Mari? Is this?
Let me take a look and see. I can't watch your Discord stream, so I'm 30 seconds behind.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
But yeah, if that's us on the hill, that was us. The start of the fight was good. We recovered from getting ambushed. The back end of the fight, we actually talked about it. We had a communication breakdown and we hesitated. So we got a knock. We covered for each other on the cross. They kept pushing. We got the clean knock on the right, and then we didn't capitalize on it fast enough. And then when the bang alt came down, we actually didn't push together. We pushed separately, which caused them to be able to isolate us.
Exactly, and that's one of my biggest teaching points here, is that I know that timing is of the essence, but if you can't get your teams to push with you and you're going by yourself, even if they're low, if you hit the wrong target, you got to keep this in mind when we go back to this. Let's look at the scenario with this ballistic. This is a really great teaching moment overall, because we all do this. I've done this a million times in rank myself. Even if the ballistic shot this individual, this person has a whole free spray by the time this person, even if they have amazing target switching, decides to shoot this person, even if they had an aimbot, if they came around this corner and aimbotted down a full mag into this person's target switched here, there's still a third person shooting them. This is why pro players are able to beat out cheaters. I know that cheaters don't belong in this game. They should never belong in this game, but cheaters don't know how to play this game, okay? And if you ever want to beat a cheater, is that by sticking together, it's going to be very difficult for them to isolate an opponent, because usually they just wide swing and do something dumb. Hopefully they're not blatantly cheating beyond a shadow of a doubt, aimbot wall hacks, and then just like ultimate abilities, which we have seen, unfortunately. But the biggest tip I'm providing is don't go in thinking that you're going to win against a 1v3, because even if you had the best aim in the world, it's just not going to happen. You have to coordinate. The tip I can provide: take the rock, use utility, throw a grenade, use your smart pistol, isolate another one out. If you hear the res, that means that they're free to shoot. All of that there. Junior Claw, you're horrible. I'm just kidding. Look at me picking on all the people who are here. I know, right? I appreciate you, dude, for hopping in today, by the way. Kind of explain what happened here, Junior, if you don't mind. When you guys got knocked. Well, what happened here?
So what we try to do is we try to rotate outside of Harvest Choke into the middle here.
Yep.
And then we kind of overanalyzed where exactly we were going to land. We didn't really pick a spot. We just kind of like it was like a free-for-all type of landing. And then our third got knocked from on the way down. And then there was a team chasing us from one of the buildings. And we were going to... Right here, we kind of split off a bit so we can confuse the enemies. But I still played for Banner, because we tried to get a beacon or a res beacon on the south where she's aiming at. But that's literally was the thought process of how we got to this situation. We just tried to fly over 3 teams that I at least scanned while overflying, but at the same time, again, there was no communication as far as like where are we landing exactly, which is like a free for all.
Yeah,
It really
don't pull a
depends
you know the biggest tip, don't pull a TSM,
on-
right? Know where you're gonna land ahead of time. Try to have a game plan. If you don't have a game plan, then just start pushing through. We talked about that yesterday, where Valkyries will Valkylt, and if you don't have an idea on the position you want, have a plan A and a plan B. Let's say, like, if we're looking at this map right here, I'm gonna go back 5 seconds. Let's say you wanted to take this section right here, and it was rough. Well, okay, they're there. Take building instead, right? Have a plan A and a plan B on where you plan on going, so you're not just kind of just randomly going. You know what I mean? Even if you say plan A, plan B. So usually whenever I Valkyrie with the team, we're going to go here and then we're going to go here. Sometimes if I do it poorly, everyone says all at once, we're start screaming, and then everyone's like dogpiling everywhere, and that's where the chaos happens and nobody wins, unfortunately. So if you're the Valkyrie of your team, always have a plan of where you plan on going. And if you don't know where you're going to go, practice on having plans, because when you're the Valkyrie, you're the IGL, which is why teams struggle with who the IGL is in that moment, because that's why Hal was like, well, I'm just going to Valkyrie us. And it's like, I don't want to be on Valkyrie. And they keep switching back and forth, right? So just a good tip just to provide there for all the Valkyries that are out there. Anita, just kidding, because I see her on Valkyrie right now. All right, as we keep looking, nobody, like I said, nobody really ran away with the lobby here. And this is what we're kind of talking about here, where we still had 14 squads. Technically, in the current rank system, if they were, this serious, then you know that it's really hard to fight for positioning. But you also need to go where the next zone is. The one team that you realize is a rat here does manage to, Gufando managed to get both Leonessa and Oval back into the fight. And man, do they clutch out later and make a massive play. So kudos to them on that. So one thing that Cynical's team, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, is a Cynicality. I'll go with Cynicality. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. As teams start moving in, I'm going to talk about this next fight. I really appreciate the fact that you guys are holding roof and occupying space. But one thing you can do that can be helpful, instead of giving your teams too much respect, is trying to get them out. If you try to get them out, let's say that there's a team here and maybe there's a duo there. I know it can be a little scary in terms of making a play, but if you make a play fast enough, the things that you can do to secure the space so you don't end up in a rough situation with a lot of teams coexisting. So if you're the first team there, if you're the second team there, and as people start coexisting and making plays, it starts to become impossible, and you start hoping and praying that things work out in your favor. Most of the time they don't. Okay, so tip here for this squad: nobody res right away. That was my biggest issue that I saw here. Nobody went for the res. Because of that, there was this massive delay. Once you had this arc here, one of you guys could have stuck the res. It could have been a CBE. You could have gone there for the res here. I know you decided to put a barrel down. There was a lot of hesitation. You didn't need to overextend here. You overextended. You could have thrown the caustic ults a little bit closer. But there was about, if we see before you were knocked right here, there was 5, 10, 15, almost like 15 seconds. Meaning that you could have rezzed him. He could have popped a bat and popped a med kit and been back in the fight. That's how fast the timing is if you would have rezzed right away. It's nitpicky, but at the same time, I know these situations always feel intense, but if you slow them down, oh, you even traded there. Why aren't you rezzing? Both sides. Oh my gosh. Even more reason to start screaming. Why aren't you rezzing? Both sides. Holy, if you got the knock, you got to res. There's no reason to push it. You got to res. Either side has to res and reset. My gosh, more of a reason to go crazy on that. So make sure that you res, prioritize the res. This was a 2v3. Oh, and you guys won a 2v3. Wow. Okay. Well, prioritize. That's all I can say is prioritize the res. More of a reason based on the pressure. I knocked with a nade, which was lucky, but cost a gas. Junior killed everyone there. Trust me, Junior. Oh, go ahead, Junior.
Can I add something on that?
Yeah.
Real quick. The Bloodhound that scanned us the first time, we did notice we got scanned, but since my duo was ahead of me, they got one scan only off. So I don't know if there was like, that they didn't really know it was a full squad on that scan.
That could be it. Another thing is that never go off the assumption of, even if you got your scan, always assume the worst and always go for a reset, right? Just because like, oh, I got one on scan. Sometimes you can't always just trust your scan because what if they were a little bit further away? Because then another person shows up, But always prioritize your teammates and helping them survive. That's what you want to, at least that's what you want to prioritize. Your team is your team for a reason. If you don't save your team, well, you're crap out of luck, even if they're not very good. I when I was doing the spectating series, I was like, man, I should just res there. I don't know why I decided just to go do it myself, because even then they, you know, I joke around, they're meat shields, right? They are your body blockers or your linebackers. You know, even if you let them go in first, you still have an opportunity to really make a play with them. 2 is better than 1. So always go for, in 3 is even better than 1. So always prioritize the res than anything, and let your other teammate cover. That's what you should say. Cover me while I'm rezzing right away. Especially the healthiest person should be covering at least, or doing something. As long as you prioritize the res, and that's the biggest note that I can take away from all of you guys, then oh my gosh. So the teammates called out as a full squad. Okay, so temp is confirmed. I got one on scan, but it was confirmed that it was a full squad. So even more so, res. So this team, Chelsea, Cynicality, and Pyre. I see you guys trying to make a play here, which is good. Sometimes you might need to actually over-aggress. Some things that I see here is split decisions. One person's going inside, one decides to go back on roof to secure it. If your team decides to push, go for the push. If you decide not to go for the push, then just secure roof. Being together and cohesion is better than nothing at all, even when you're playing with randoms. This is a 1v1. We caught this towards the end here. Let's take a look at this. See, we got a little bit more in this fight here. When we do your one-on-one coachings, we have so many people recording different POVs that don't worry, I'm going to have pretty much everything at the end of the day to kind of piece together the full story. So if I missed it, I have 4 other people recording that I guarantee that we're going to see everything. So even if your team is in shambles, here's a great example. Leonessa's team, when I saw earlier, they barely had any loot, by the way. Okay? I was calling that I was farming shield. If I were to have downed one, that would have been pushed. Even if you're farming shields, still move forward. I would call at that point, if you were there trying to take an off angle, call for your teammates to come over. Otherwise, you're just gonna been split. You never want to be split. I kind of always make it more of a black and white situation. Go full on or don't, essentially. If you kind of like are just halving it with no intention to push, then you're just by yourself, and you never want to be by yourself, right? That's the goal. Well, we can pull out MS Paint at the end of today like we were doing yesterday. Start explaining that. So this is an angle where nobody took the off angle. Everyone kind of went forward. Booty Warrior, I see you pulled out your Sheila, but everyone peeked the same angle right there, which is why everyone went down, which is why it's important to have somebody take an off angle. If you all peek the same angle, even if they miss their shots, they're all just going to start hitting you. So you don't all want to peek the same area. So that's another little tip. Because then that happens. Regardless, no matter how good you are, even if the other team, let's just say the other team has really, really bad aim, right? Not saying this team does, I'm just saying in general, if they have bad aim, then they're going to hit you. They're going to hit somebody. So don't underestimate your opponents. And then, of course, you jumped around the rampart shield there and got eliminated. So good on them for cleaning this up. I know Lifeline got prioritized. Lifeline always gets prioritized to get down first, unfortunately. No worries, Tulpa. It's understood. Just make sure you're not peeking the same angle. You see 2 people go the same angle. What if they threw a nade right there? What if an arc star got stuck on one of your teammates, right? Then you guys are all in shambles. Try to spread out a little bit, but you're still pushing the same area and putting pressure. That's your goal. Put pressure. I couldn't tell if you were 3 steps ahead of my team or 3 steps behind. That makes sense. Still take off angles. Somebody has to take off angles, regardless, and you have to make the decision very quickly. Overall, you know, it's difficult. No matter what, is always difficult. Who was the team sitting on height with the rampart next to the dome thing in lava? I couldn't tell your 3 steps. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm just reading the Discord chat. It's nice that I have this chat. It helps me engage with you more as we get more information from the teams. Team 14 has a fantastic spot here. The reason why is they can occupy a lot of space. They can see a lot of teams. There was one moment I want to talk about here. See if it happened beforehand. I think it happened beforehand. Yep. Okay. So this team, by the way, this was Mercy's group, Nano and Reckless Pat. If you guys can type in chat, we talked about this yesterday. What do you think the solution would have been to avoid this happening? I talked about it on stream, but I want to see if you guys can type in chat and let me know what you believe that the solution could have been here. You knew that you might have known that this team was located here. You're holding the choke. What could you have done in this scenario to avoid this happening? I'll wait for you guys to type in chat for just a second. This was for Reckless Pat, Nano, and Mercy for your squad. I think you guys can learn a lot from this for everybody. What could you have done in this scenario? Or anybody at this point can type in thoughts and what could have been done differently here. Our squad was plotting on them the whole time. It makes sense. Trust me, that's the whole point of if you're that squad right there, right? Just hanging tight to see what people say. If you don't have an answer in 10 seconds, yeah, holding your back is definitely one. Okay, Reckless is typing. Let's see what Reckless says. Our resident Watson. That would have been good. Anchoring is definitely solid. Now, if you know this team is located here, and trust me, this is a you have to kind of think ahead, right? If you know this team is here, I don't think Mocat's team or this team is going to be able to run towards a choke and run at you outside of zone. It's sometimes just secure your back. You had, I saw this earlier, you had about 45 seconds is to really secure this space. And Watson, if you were to hold here and you were to go look for information to see who is located here and get them out, that's really, really important. And even Whitest Cobra says, I turned off heartbeats so they didn't hear us. So yes, that's key. Go look for them to make sure the back is clear. And always assume that there could be a team back there so you can put pressure and start shooting at them and getting them nervous and getting them scared. So really, really scout out the back, because this team, you got to keep in mind, they have to cross out in the open to run towards you. And this team as well has to cross out in the open to run towards you. You definitely have a lot more space and time to occupy more space to make sure this team does not run up on you. Your biggest threat is behind you. Your least important threat is in front, because these guys are essentially your teammates. You have to use your other opponents and teammates to really do something here. But because they're able to run up and they have their utility, they essentially were able to run up for free. And that's pretty much what costed you guys. Otherwise, you know, now they're in your spot. They have their backs cleared. At this point, they're like, man, we're chilling. Like, this is great. You know, they're now kill leader. They're vibing. They have KP on the board. They're top 8. Things are looking solid. And the other team now can pretty much hold them out. Yeah, of course. It's a great spot of just looking behind. That's why the tip for anybody. This happens to anybody. This doesn't happen just in just this match. This happens in normal ranked. I've seen this happen in pro play, where it's like your back. It was like assessing who is the most important threat, and it's your back, because the front, they're not going to be able to cross towards you. Even if this person wanted to, Mocat is a fantastic player. He can't cross over and run at you. He just can't because of the individual there. Gufondo, I know this is tough. You guys could have played inside. Once you saw there, be very, very aware of where your teammates are running. Gufondo is also the reason why they got this far to begin with, so he got out. So just as a FYI, it's a tough, but that decision making is the difference between you surviving and getting in with your squad versus not. Now, remember how we mentioned everyone's stacked upon this lobby right here, right? Everyone's stacked, one on the roof, one on the 3rd floor, one on the 2nd floor, and then one on the base floor. It's a really tough spot to be in, which is why I was saying cynicality, your team. The more people you can get out and kind of assess the situation, otherwise you're in a spot where what I would call what TSM did was Valcolt for a different position. Like if this was that game-winning team, the team on the roof would Valcolt fly over here and start putting pressure and sandwiching these teams in. These would push in, all get eliminated right here, and then you occupy space. So it's a tough position to be in. If you think of the game-winning spot when TSM won, when they were all stacked upon that building, one was on the base, one was on the 2nd floor, one was on the roof, and one had an angle, you're essentially just playing, you're just rolling dice and then praying that something will happen. The only thing you can do in that scenario is try to break the mold, try to go left, try to take cover, try to take a different spot. I say that now, but of course, if everybody tries to do it all at once, you have to try to break the mold, because otherwise everyone's just going to hold positioning and wait till the last minute, and then nothing can really be done in that scenario. Hard to do with random. Sometimes you just have to be the bait and then just kind of pray that something happens. And I see cynicality, I see you type, so I'll also address what you're typing in just a second as well. Keeping track of time, so we do need to hop in. After we die, naturally hit me that maybe if we pushed out that team. Yes, exactly. It's always in hindsight. It's never easy to do in the moment. It's never easy to do. But if you step away from this class, I want you to always think 2 steps ahead on what could potentially happen, because that's going to be more impactful to your fight than anything else. All right, let's take a look here. They're holding. Everyone's waiting for zone. And then I'm going to have Mocat speak about what he was doing here and his off angle. He's going to be able to teach us just a little bit, just to put Mocat on the spot. Everyone else died, so as the zone is closing, the far right, everyone's landing on top of each other. These guys are barely even shooting at you. They do at one point, they say, hey, look, they're running in, and everyone's just like dogpiling on top of each other. It's just mass chaos. Nobody's able to focus fire because everyone's on top of each other. I respect the res, you know, trying to get it off, but then there's really nothing that can happen of it. So, Mocad, what we're going to talk about, I'm going to pass it to you for a second.
Yeah.
What is your thought process here, and what can you teach everyone, especially because I know you do scrims as well? And taking an off angle. What can you teach pretty much everyone in the class today from your expertise on that?
Okay. This is difficult to explain, for sure, because there's many things at once.
Yep.
But if you pause for a second.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pausing.
Before we even got to this position, or we got to the right side.
Yep.
I was worried about the back team because they were on the left for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we went to the right, so we can sandwich this team in the middle.
Yeah.
The same sort of thing here. I felt free to come to the right or left here because it was sandwiching the team in the middle. Where else is there?
As you started moving in, talk about why you're not stacked on top of Toast and B shells. What's the benefit of having you here?
Me being here gives us way more space, and with space we can negate the team's cover pretty much, make them feel way more uncomfortable, make them need to use cover properly. If they don't, they will get shot by multiple people at once.
Exactly.
Me being on here and taking an off angle isn't an issue because I know I have both my teammates looking over me and I have control over this area. If 2 guys slide out on me, or if I'm too close, I would give them a reason to push me, you know, if I overstay my welcome. But here I didn't see it happening, so I stayed for as long as I could. You can see me
Exactly.
kind of hop back and forth, deciding if I should go back, but it didn't give me a reason to go back.
And because of that, the Vantage is able to even get a knock here. Because they have an angle. They're essentially playing entry and support, and you have the angle here. And while you can't shove out that open, the Vantage is able to pretty much clean up everything because they got the first knock, and they're about to get the second knock here in just a second. So the beauty here is that I know that Seer is not necessarily an off-angle legend, right?
No.
But because you're close to your team, and there you go, they got the knocks. You did your job, and you played your role. Your teammates are able to do what they need to do, and then you can move up and just pretty much secure what you need to.
Mm-hmm.
So this is such an important lesson because look at that. This isn't necessarily I would say like for the other team, is it mechanical? I mean, sure, Mocad, your aim is insane, but because you guys are occupying space, so in the constant videos when I say occupy space, hold angles, beat it, you know, you don't necessarily want to be in the scenario where you saw the other squad, where we saw it go essentially, I guess you can call it south, where you run up all together. I would say your heart is in the right spot because you're trying to push together, but you're only holding one cross and one angle, and therefore you get blasted down. And then what you're seeing different from here is almost like, you know, we're talking about yesterday, is like SWAT and military tactics. You have somebody holding your cross, holding your angle, you're occupying more space. The other team feels very uncomfortable because while they can reset and everything, if they look left, there might be somebody on the right. If they look too far left, well, then there's still 2 on the right. Even if they were to push Mocad here, the Vantage and the Watson have free shots. Let's say you manage to do 150 damage to Mocad. The 2 people on the right still have the angles, right? All right, so we're going to do, let's go ahead and bounce back in. It's 11:05, so be keeping track. Go to your next round. I'm going to load up the lobby, and I'm going to share the code. So good first round. Fantastic breakdown of everything. And then we're going to get right back into it. So appreciate all of you guys and good feedback. This is you guys are playing sweaty. You guys are playing sweaty, man. I love it. There's a lot to learn here. So let me get started with the lobby and make sure everything's good. And I'll put the codes in for you guys in just 1 second.
It'll linger for a minute too while we sort out. A couple people stepped in
Okay,
that showed up late for round 1.
you got it. I'm gonna put the next code into day 2 now. So I'm gonna add everyone. Round 2 code. Now keep in mind in your spreadsheets, it is a new squad, a new randomization. You're with new people, so just don't get comfortable. Always be on your toes.
Since we changed all the teams around, am I going back to 10?
Yeah,
Okay.
those of us that were here as fillers will start on our fill squads, and then we might adjust again depending on how many people showed up after round 1.
Perfect.
I'll just chill.
We're gonna have to play it by ear a little bit.
Okay, all right, we're doing pretty solid. Thank you guys. Thank you, Mari, for all the hard work. Thank you for everybody who's watching live on the stream. We're about to get into round 2 as we break everything down. So hopefully hopefully everyone's learning something. Takeaways. It's interesting. Today's I would say today's probably the lobbies. Don't get discouraged. Are probably harder than they were yesterday. Even though there's like 2 less squads and it's probably going to fill up even more. It's definitely a lot sweatier, a lot more difficult. Especially for the end zones, trying to at least secure some placement and everything. So I have an Arizona tea to keep my sugar up today. Don't forget to drink water, stay hydrated. Yesterday I almost forgot, and then I was super like exhausted later. So don't forget. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, by the way. I really hope you host one of these again. Also, Killer Frosty, thank you so much for all the donations. Sorry for chat. If I'm not able to keep up with all your questions, you're pretty much just getting a sneak peek into the class. That's pretty much the goal. I want you guys to see what's going on and share that experience, and hopefully you guys can learn from it as well. When we do the Q&A portion of the end, that'll be just for everyone who's a part here. But yeah, we're moving along. We're moving along. AJ into a spectator. All right, Gufunda, you can definitely go to your squad. Oh, here. Okay, Junior already left. He's gone into a squad. Your code should everyone's piling in.
Where shall I go?
We'll just
I'm gonna drag you to Team 20 for
float and
now.
fill.
Yeah.
Just that's the filler one. Is Crony around? Did he show up after all?
I'll message him now.
See if because he can be a filler for Team 20 if you guys need it.
Well-
That'd be a toxic squad.
No worry, we'll balance it. Nobody ran away with the lobby still, though. That's the crazy part. There wasn't one team that just kind of ran with it. It was like, honestly, this is playing out like some really competitive scrims, and I really love seeing it because it's actually helping. It's educational.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I took that 2v3, it felt like LGS. I was like, oh no, I'm getting thirded. I gotta do it quick.
Hey, so you see, it turned out to be more educational than people
I was,
realized.
like, actually IGLing how I normally would, and that felt weird.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, I mean, when people play it well and they play it right, it gets difficult, and there's a lot to learn. I mean, these lobbies are really fun to watch too. It's not like it's oh look, one team ran away and killed everybody, you know.
Yeah, right?
Did he do the stream for the first time? We did one yesterday, by the way, chat. This is the second day. We're just filling out where we can right now. Just because it is Mother's Day.
Team 2.
Oh, we had one person say that they had to go after round 2. That was Kirk. Kerck. Excuse me.
Was that their Discord name or their?
That's their
in-game
Discord name.
Man, next time I'm just putting Discord names on this sheet. Let me see who that is.
Smokey.
I don't see them there either.
What do you
Are
want?
a duo or
We're still pending. We're trying to see if we can fill. We only need 3 more, which is better than last round.
Yeah, so we'll probably just bust up Team 20 if nobody else is showing up and split them.
Yeah, essentially we could only have one team that isn't full, you know?
Yeah.
probably the best bet. So we essentially filled up one one whole team, which is good. Like we could put Junior and Anita into team 2, and then Nyx into team 15.
NYX.
NYX.
I think we should put probably Nyx into 10 instead of 15.
Sure, that
Wasn't
works.
10 just full?
Was it?
I just saw it full.
It was just full, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody was bouncing around confused. Who's on that squad? It's supposed to be Pigeon, Nana, Watt, and YG. YG didn't respond to a message in Discord, it looks like.
I could have sworn I saw team 10 full.
Yeah.
It could have just been somebody like confused or in the wrong spot though.
Maybe.
Do you want me to put the
Somebody
code
else just left.
into stream to get well, that's true, because then it'll fill up.
Please do not put the
Okay.
code into the stream.
Do we put
There's
it?
gonna be so many people. What do you mean?
What if we put it into the Discord for those that paid in day 1?
Yeah, that could work.
Good,
I'd say
yeah.
like that's probably the better plan than
I gotcha.
Yeah.
40 people or 190.
So technically,
people?
cast participants has day 1, right?
Yeah.
Part of day 1. Okay. Let's see if anybody fills in that was a part of day 1. We'll give it a quick second and then we'll come in. I feel like we have most of everyone who could show up. Was Crony able to hop in?
He hasn't messaged me back, so I assume he's not home yet.
Okay. Trying to think, where else could I post this where it won't be overwhelming? I can put into the Discord membership for YouTube members who want to hop in. See if we get anybody in that way. So if they're a Discord, I mean a YouTube member, I mean at that point it's like you're a member, so you're paying for something. So I might as well give you the option. Is this video going to be public? Of course. It will stay a public VOD always. There we go. We got somebody hopped in. Thermal. There we go. Team 2.
Oh?
He was actually watching as a member. He said, "I'm ready," and hopped in right away. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did my game crash? Oh, my game crashed, I think.
We'll get you back
I
in.
couldn't. Yeah, let me rejoin. I think
Okay, you're
my
good.
no, my game like crashed. I gotta close Apex.
Okay, you're good. No worries, no worries. Better now than later, right?
Yeah.
Does it still say you're here or no? Oh, Kami's here. Very nice. Drag him to team 2. Where did Thermal go?
Thermal went to 19.
I'm gonna put him to team 2. Okay. And then we can balance this out. Anita, maybe you can go full solo rat mode.
We ball.
Oh man, it's like Omega Frozen. I'm gonna do a quick restart. I think. Let me see.
Join Mocad and just farm the lobby. Thoughts?
I got him a team. Now all we need is Mari, and I think we're good to go.
Hey.
And then we have a full lobby. Look at that.
Okay, I'm gonna restart
Okay, no worries.
super fast.
Get one more person.
LGS admin late. Spam late.
Oh my god, when are we starting? Oh my god.
Honestly, we've been pretty quick about the lobby starting, considering we're trying to fill up, you
Yeah.
know? Not too bad. I like how everyone's naming their team. You have Spicy Potatoes, NRG. We have the Booby Troop, Skill Issue, TSM Hal, Fury is here. Man, his Watson Forever. Wow, Sweet Potatoes, Xset. Got some pro teams here, apparently, huh?
That's crazy.
All right. Yeah, we're just waiting for Mari, and then we're good to go.
Wait, 100 Thieves here? Oh, I gotta go, guys.
We'll have a full roster. I couldn't type in the code. It's okay. Don't worry. We're filling up now. That's the beauty. We're filling up now. And at least it's people who paid are here, people who are members, or, you know, again, I would love to put it into YouTube chat, but Mari is a better judgment. You know, imagine we see 100 people pile in. It would be pretty scary. And then, you know, that's it.
Yeah, that'd be bad. Don't do that.
He's back.
Yeah, I'm just reloading everything right now.
Yep.
Oh,
Your
you
team,
responded?
your team 19 will be full, and we have a full lobby.
I'll be here for next game.
Once Mari is here. Okay, perfect. So we have a good filler. Team 10 disappeared again. Why does Team 10 keep disappearing?
I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe
I
they're
keep
having issues.
Maybe. I don't know. How is there only 190 people? This is golden for free. I mean, the VODs are doing great. Yesterday's VOD got an additional like 3K views, so maybe it's Mother's Day, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's Mother's Day. If your mom sees you just playing Apex, what are they gonna say? I can't believe you did that. I don't know if your mother is like 100 years old, apparently, but.
Mine just hits me with the chancla, you know. And just get
There you go. Junior, you and Anita can duo, okay? For that statement. When Mari hops in, he'll be with Adam. I'll put NY or Nyx, NYX. Just kidding. Nyx will be in team 10. I'm not sure what happened in their team. I want to make sure they have a full squad. And then you guys can be get rolled. Feels bad. Mari, how are we looking?
I'm on the loading screen right now. I'll be
Okay.
in like a second.
Perfect. Our team never showed for team 10. Don't worry. I got you guys somebody. And we're going to have 100% full lobby before. And a Junior and Anita, they don't even need a third.
We'll be back.
Okay, we start.
All right, I'm in.
I go down to BC.
Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun, everybody. We do a full breakdown afterwards. Alrighty. Killer Frosty, I appreciate you so much. Next round, Team 20 is going to have somebody, but don't worry. Overall, it'll still work and be balanced. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, we go into round two. What's this about? If you're just tuning in, this is a masterclass that we're hosting. Individuals have paid for their seating. It's very cheap. It's literally $1 an hour, total for 3 hours or $3 for the full day. It's just to make sure people take serious lobby. As you can tell, thankfully it's worked. It's the lobbies are very serious. People are playing to the best of their ability. I'd even say that this is probably even better experience than what we see in scrims. So it's a very positive experience overall. Those who decide, they can sign up for additional coaching if they like. There's additional coaching, but the beauty is that I've seen them play. We have multiple people recording different POVs, so that's always that's a plus. So that's what the masterclass is. We do a round, we go through the VOD, we break it down afterwards, we give tips. You can see how a lobby plays out. Most people never really consider what other players are doing in the rest of the lobby and how it's really going full scale. And I understand that's always it's always hard to understand, but if you understand how the other team is thinking, then it can put your team in a better situation where you can win. Sometimes it's not always about mechanics. When we say occupy space, go to zone, play positioning, get into good fights, rotate when you need to, get out of the fight timely. These are all the questions I see constantly being asked in the comment section of videos. And to get that picture, you have to see how the flow of a lobby happens. And the downside is most people who do scrims never get to see that full picture, right? So now we got pretty much a full lobby. Looking pretty solid across the board. We'll see if anybody lands on top of each other now. There was a lot of respect paid prior round. We might see it change up a little bit. Is this a one-time thing? I don't know. I wasn't sure how this was going to go. I just wanted to try to do something different that I've never seen done before. And I don't know. I was just kind of hoping to see that it would just do well. It's done very... Oh my gosh, I got scared. I thought they were going to fall off the map. Luckily, it seems to have done pretty well. I've been pretty nervous about... I'm just trying to get through it. I'm just trying to get through like the day 1 and day 2. I'll do a post review and see if it's worth doing again. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort. There's definitely things I can do better to improve. Oh wow, are they landing right on top of them? Look at that. There's 3 teams located here, by the way. I think they just realized. I don't think they saw them right away and they veered off. But we have 3 teams located in this area. Teams located here, so these are potential 2 fights that are going to break out. And if you're wondering, well then Dazs, how are you able to tell from players based on the coaching, is that I've kind of already seen them start to play. I've already memorizing what they do, how they play, what they do in their squads. I have other individuals recording. Shout out to those that are recording. Sarah's helping today, who did the emails on the channel. She's recording a POV. AJ is, and Jeannie is. They're all recording, so then I can look through the footage. When we have their one-on-one coaching, it kind of breaks out from there. Nobody's really contesting right away. We see a lot of patience really being held right now. Everyone's just trying to get their loot. The downside is that there's not enough loot for 3 teams here. This is definitely risky on Thermal Heat's part. By being in the center, I'm surprised they're giving him so much space. This team decided to go to Landslide. Very smart by just rotating and getting the resources they need instead of just staying there. Because there are 20 squads. There is a lot more people occupying space within the lobby. We see this team in it. Now, if they get loot, they could come back to it as well. Nobody even landed Lava Fissure, which is one of my favorite spots in general as well. And yeah, I understand that, you know, everybody will always have some sort of complication or something. I had a lot of people cancel, and we had a lot of people that we tried filling in. But overall, it's really worked out. It's played out really well. Solid crack. This is a screaming for entry right here. The other 2 teammates should follow right behind. Let's see where they started running off to. They are booking it. Did one of them fall further behind? Okay, they're all together. But if they push, they could still keep pushing. They do have a solid potential here if they keep moving forward, but I think they kind of let them go. You'll realize that if a team decides to really book it, that the other team won't really have information of where they go, regardless of even having a hound. But now it looks like they've occupied the space, but they're about to get run up on. Remember that timing. You never know. Once you take a shot, it's like you have to start running to go to a different spot, right? Because you never know who's listening in on these spots. And then now that you fought this, the other team may come back and say, hey, it might be worth pushing again. Also, these things are very, very loud when they move. I don't know why there's no audio on it right now. And there it is. Holding for his teammate, trying to get some damage in. Luckily, they do have some fences up. They could rotate out. Remember how I said rotation is key, because you never know if this other team is going to decide to show up. Got a holding pattern. Now we got to just keep holding and waiting to see what they're going to do. If they take this fight too long, they need to rotate, and they do need more resources. Look how low Kami is on resources, that at some point you have to decide, you know what, it's not worth being here anymore. We need to leave. It's not a matter of being scared of the fight. If you're top 20 and you notice the lobby isn't dying, what do? What's our theme? You got to rotate and run. The gen unfortunately came down a few seconds too late, but it's okay. Going for a flank. One person's already pretty much gone. So pretty much leaving them by themselves. That's a communication thing. Having game sense, paying attention, what your teammates are doing. I think, excuse me, he fell. So that makes sense because he was trying to avoid the bang ult. But at least they're backing out. We do see teams fighting in other areas. A lot of respect in this lobby across the board. I mean, they're trying. It's not that they're not trying to get into a fight, just that the teams are playing it very, very intelligently and not just griefing or throwing their games. Well, that was a massive crack right there too. But the resources are almost next to nothing. So which means that they're going to have to run at this point. Now, this is where Loba really comes in handy to get you the resources that you need. When you don't have a Loba, you really feel the pinch on loot most of the time, especially when everyone else in the lobby is actually looting what they need to loot. You'll really realize the importance of just getting the resources that you need, getting a better armor, crafting, getting batteries. Oh, it looks like they found him in the choke here. Don't have the ult from before, and they do know another team might rotate onto this. What does the one-on-one coaching consist of? I set a separate time and coach individuals one-on-one. It's a 45-minute coaching session. But they could have the whole masterclass plus the 45-minute coaching session for only $20 if they wanted to do the additional coaching. Otherwise, you still get 3.5 hours dedicated. The one-on-one time I priced a little higher, but even then, I think it's a really solid price. Oh, did we lose one on Mocat's team? Oh, no, we didn't. Holding here. They're playing patiently. A lot of teams are starting to conglomerate in this area. But it's definitely going to be hard. Because as everyone starts to dogpile, this is where the dogpiling in the server happens. Nobody wants to get eliminated. They're flying over, trying to occupy space because of the zone. Smart rotation by this squad. They're just trying to get out. They don't want to be out in the open. They know being out in the open is a nightmare. They're in this right here, but they have to be aware that the team is located nearby. Was a really close spray. Overextended just a little bit from their teammates. That happens. It's unfortunate. But at least there was an attempt made. One thing I'll say is that at least you understand the attempt that's being made there. We do have a team that's fighting in the back right there, and this team is oh my gosh, that is a massive amount of damage that just went out from that Bangalore. Unfortunately, the Bangalore is most likely gonna have to run away and just reposition. Let's take a look at what's happening from the fight. I think they're chasing that Bangalore. Oh, I know, almost gets eliminated there. Just needed probably one shot. Oh, they got him. Did they? Running away. It's really hard to occupy space that's out in the open. Really, really difficult. All right, let's take a look at what other teams are fighting. Teams are rotating in. Team 9 holding it together, trying to get into zone. Not necessarily the end of the world here, but they do need to get past them. They have the Seer ult as a defensive, offensive maneuver. The Seer ult is probably popped a little bit too early, but I get probably the fear of getting run up on. Your Seer ult, your utility has to be really used if you're just so down bad that you're worried about who's going to run up on you, or if you're making a really, really strong push. Granted, it did keep this team at bay, but listen, at this point, you got to work and go to zone. Looks like Anita and Junior, as the only duo in the lobby, are still in it. They're taking a smart rotation and going into zone. We do have a fight that did break out on the south side over here. This is Cynicality, Dazs, as well as Timujan. Almost got him eliminated. They got 2 minutes on the clock. There's plenty of time. They're rotating, going to zone. Prizing that zone placement. They won't know who is a team of 2, especially if you occupy space and kind of posture up, The one-on-one coaching price is kind of average price, kind of. Well, the thing is that I don't really sell coaching services, so these people who are getting coaching, I don't sell it. And this is the only time I had kind of said, you know what, this is the only time I'm going to sell it. But if you compare the masterclass plus the coaching session, because afterwards we spend like a full hour in the Discord kind of talking and breaking things down as a big group, asking questions. So everyone gets a lot of time, essentially, to be a part. So it's not just like, hey, here's 1 hour, here's like quick 20. It's like you get a full class, you get full recorded POV, we get to review everything, and pretty much I will probably not be selling services for a very, very long time. I don't consider myself I don't want to be a coach that sells services. I'm going to be very blunt and honest about that. And the reason why is because I like helping people, and I don't want to always put a price tag towards it. But for this class, I wanted people to take it very seriously. And luckily, it looks like it's paid off. Everyone, as you could tell in the lobby, is taking it very seriously. Need to try to craft that banner. Look like they're taking out the balloon there. We have a lot of teams still outside of zone that have to work their way in. But a lot of teams are playing respectful with the zone and playing it pretty smart. The center team is holding. Everyone's got a building. A skyhook ending is very, very difficult, by the way, because everyone can essentially have a building. And a lot of teams can coexist, especially in ALGS. This is one of those zones where everyone could literally have a building. What's the rank of most of the people in the lobby? It ranges from all the way to gold to masters, and they've all been balanced and randomized accordingly. Because we definitely have a lot of masters, prior preds and stuff located in here, and a lot of gold and a lot of plat, but because it's randomized, they never really get comfortable. Just because you have a good player in your team doesn't always mean that things are going to work out very well. As you can tell, nobody's necessarily just dogpie in the lobby. Nobody exactly is just pushing and shoving everything. There's still a lot of patience that is taking place, and players are securing their spots and trying to make plays, but we still have 18 squads. We only lost 1 squad so far, and that was because of the dog pile that happened here. And if they could have avoided that dog pile, it probably would have been a lot easier. Cynicality, let's take a look at their team because they have a bit of a rough rotation in. They do have a duo squad And they have the trio squad. Where did Anita and Chrono or June? Okay, they went over there. Wondering where they were located. Ridge's team, the south side. Unfortunately, the timer did time out. They do have a lot of space here. They have a lot of space. They have multiple teams that are mostly holding the angles already. A potential sandwich here for Booty Scraps and Mouse Bros. You need to. Nobody's watching the back. That's one thing I want to point out. Nobody's watching the back. Somebody should always be watching the back. I know that your focus is always the immediate threat. This is another great teaching moment. If you're never somebody always has to watch the back, and it's the most boring job in the world because you're not actively shooting. But if you notice nobody's watching the back, then you should watch the back. They might be able to get them, even though this team got the jump on them. That I would say is always a when you say like when do you need to improve your aim and your positioning, it's in this moment because you had the jump on them. So if you don't win that scenario, it really comes down to whiffing a few shots because you had the jump on them. Fortune goes down, gets burned, and they do manage to clean it up. But they're going to get thirded by the other team, which makes it a difficult fight, to say the least. Because now the other team, what do you think they're going to do is that they're going to run up. And there they are. They're about to run up. I know the list is 100 Thieves. They are, I guess, trialing for them. Lol. Funny, right? See them rotate onto this. They're trying to get out. Oh my gosh, he gets them just in time. There's still one more up there. Focus where your team is focusing. That's another tip. If you notice your teammates are focusing something that's going up, focus fire with them. Focus fire is always key. One of the biggest tips I can provide to anybody, whether your teammate is good, bad, or whatever, focus fire. Focus and look what they're shooting. We are yeah, I did it as a first come first serve for everything. So I advertised it. The biggest thing, on YouTube, if those that didn't sign up, I may do one in the future. It's not like I netted out a whole lot on it. The goal was really just to have a nice educational experience that everyone could kind of learn and improve upon. Was literally the goal of this series. I have so far, day 1 was successful. So far, day 2 has been pretty successful. Everyone is kind of holding their spot and holding their space. Rigid over here by himself, got a Kraber in hand. It's pretty strong. Let's get an extra shot. Rigid might be popping off here. I know they lost one of them. At least he's got a Kraber in hand. It's not the end of the world because, the goal is top 10, right? There's still multiple buildings. Remember how I said there's so many buildings that makes this really, really difficult to push and for multiple people to hold? Look at all the teams that are occupying space. They're playing it properly. Oh, they try to go over. See if they manage to get back in there. And it looks like they do. Hit beacon. I'm sure that's a nightmare to look at. Now, this is a risky beacon hit. That's so risky. Imagine they got knocked. I don't think anybody would have been able to push, but still, it's pretty rough. And true. You're definitely getting a 3-hour spectating series in a way. Spectating people with a very sweaty lobby and trying to break down what individuals are doing. This is where it gets difficult, especially where teams that are edging. Their focus needs to be right in their back, and Rigid's also the outlier, the anomaly here. This team's about to run up on them. Let's see if they should get the jump. They took a lot of damage to zone. Good HP. Holds. Tries to do a bit of damage. Runs right up on them. They have a 2v1 right there. Definitely should have won that. Or they did so far. Good crypto ult. Slow them down a little bit. This is a rough fight here. Good wall. Looks like it's just one more. They're able to clutch it out. When you have the focus fire, that becomes a mechanical issue. You could just train your aim, kind of breathe. I know this is an intense situation. There's a res. He's going to put pressure. It's a good time to res. The other person decided to leave. The res was there to put pressure. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's another squad rolling up. Oh, man. They just ran right up on that. Which means that the Rigid's here. He's just kind of chilling, vibing. Let's see if we can get a crack here. Probably scare the living lights out of them. But they have to rotate. There's still 3 buildings, so they're looking pretty solid. Let's take a look at the mess that's happening over here. So when we look at Syndicality's team here, they have a pretty solid jump here. Caustic barrels definitely slow things down. They're all jumping on each other. It's mass chaos right here. Ult, the biggest thing, always shoot out that ult. Always shoot out. And if both of you shoot it out, it disappears so fast. There's a lot of people that make the mistake. I've seen it also in high level. That mistake happen as well. Even shooting out caustic barrels to kind of stop their defensive maneuvers can be beneficial as well, especially when you feel like you're in a holding pattern right like this. Can also be helpful. Let's take a look at most of the teams. Nobody's really fighting yet. The zone is closing. This is about to get really, really spicy here. The goal is definitely to go to zone, focus fire together, and move together. So it looks like we got one of them moving together. One person's falling behind. Getting a little greedy there. Focus where your teammates are going. If you don't, you're going to get caught out. It's good that they moved because it gives a sense for the Valkyrie that they have to keep up as well. So pay very close attention to where your teams are moving because it's going to be pretty much a life or death. You got multiple floors being held, so you kind of a little bit of a coexisting here. Some teams getting a lot of pressure. This zone, I don't think they're going to make it, to be honest. It's just going to become mass chaos here. They're going to leave the ult there. Don't want to showcase too much presence, which is respectable. Solid damage on their part, and they move in, 100% going to get knocked. There's no way that they make the zone. The zone just puts way too much pressure once you reach zone 4 going into 5. Maybe if you have heaters there, heat shields, maybe, but if in a in ranked, I meant, but you know, in a real pro match, you won't get heat shields. Of course, in these matches and customs, yeah, you get heat shields, but it's even scarier in a pro match because you don't get that extra buffer. So this is Mocat's team coexisting. You got multiple people, multiple areas. The goal is to fend off and decide what is the biggest threat for you. Right now, they're deciding to say, hey, this is a big threat right here. And they're ducking and weaving. Good tactic here by ducking and weaving, even though they're duo. One person moves in, one person moves out. If you've ever played a real-time strategy game, they call it micromanagement. You move in, one unit gets hurt, you back out, and you keep playing so forth. The zone with 10 squads is about to become a mass chaos. So in this scenario, when you have zones like this, and this happens even in regular ranked matches sometimes where you maybe have like 5 squads, you have to assess what your biggest threat is and see if Mocat can cover for him. Unfortunately, wasn't able to cover. And so they are going to go out. It looks like they might go at 10th place. Very, very tight, very close there. And this is where the chaos ensues. These teams are all going to jump on each other right here, unfortunately. And when you Valkyrie, there's not a whole lot of space to really move to. You're going to just pretty much be right out in the open. A lot of solid damage. You got to focus pretty much what's going to be below you and then what you believe is an immediate threat. So taking out those threats is going to be really key because they're going to have to jump right down on top of each other. We know we have nuke down here. They weren't able to get that. This zone, even if they get touched for a minute, oh, it's going to hurt. Look at that truck. Look at how much damage that does. Looks like they're trying to find a spot, one that they can find that exists. Looks like they got a little split, but they do have a roof here, which is nice. Mocat is going to get pushed by himself, gets eliminated. Coexisting here. Mass hysteria, mass chaos here. But even through the chaos, notice how they have a wall here, and then they have an angle, right? Multiple teams, just everyone at this point has to pretty much find a small sector for themselves. And this is where Mirage Res does come in clutch, especially through the chaos. Mari's all by himself, holding we've been seeing a lot of Krabers today. Playing it patient. 7 squads still. 7 squads. That is crazy, guys. This is where you have to find your little space to live in and occupy your small space. Oh man, that Sheila is just coming right around the corner. That's rough. I know a lot of feedback is once you get to the end zone, what can you do here? You got to find a space that you can occupy, and one person watches the front and one person watches the back, and then pray that your teammates can do some damage. And assess what would you say is the immediate threat that's going to shoot you. In this scenario, this immediate threat, you know, is the one taking the roof from you or shooting from the other side of the roof. Solid damage from Zars there. Moving forward, gets Krabered in the back by a whole different person. And that was for Mari, who was holding his spot earlier. He's about to get eliminated. Oh, and that team does go down. And then we see the solo Valkyrie facing off against a solo Bangalore. Inside, we also have just chaos ensuing. Team outside, we have 2 solo. Oh, the solo Mari just got eliminated. So we have a team outside, a team inside, and then we have the solo. The solo might be able to grief just about everyone here with a Kraber in hand. 140. That's a lot of damage. This team across the way. Oh man, this is rough. Holding their spots and holding their angles. They got to slow it down. Essentially, they're in a 1v4 is what it feels like. Good Gen puts a ult just to kind of slow them down. Fortunately, they did lose one. Oh, that EVA just is not doing the job that it needs to be doing. And they do get eliminated, but now it is just a solo Bangalore. Here to try to clutch out. 1 knock. Can they do it? 2 knocks potentially coming in. The zone is going to hit really hard. Oh man, it's coming in close. It's coming in close. Did those fences actually grief? Oh no. Oh my gosh. He's trying to come in there, runs out of light ammo. Man, almost comes out ahead with the 1v3. Could you imagine? He had to slow it down. Very stressful in that last minute there, hitting those last PK shots. Man, those are the scenarios where you don't get a whole lot of experience in, but that pressure, trust me, being one of the last ones alive, knowing that as a top 2 scenario, you've 1-magged one of them's down, it's just you, and you have not enough light ammo. That is rough. That is scary to deal with. What a fantastic round. All right, so everyone's going to hop up, and we're going to break everything down. What a round. That was great. All right, so let's switch POVs. I can't talk. And I'll pull up my chat. That was really, really crazy at the end there. That was insane. All right, let me pull up this round. Transfer it. That Bangalore was so close to winning, though. That was insane. That was an insane play. Day 2, game 2. All right, there's a lot there. That was a sweaty lobby. So let's share our screen. Then we also have it live, also streamed. Let me pull up chat. Make sure that you guys can see. I'm gonna pause it. Had to make them count. I saw Mari. That you really griefed that team, by the way. That was insane. That was an insane ending.
It was a tough spot, man. It was a tough spot to be in, but we made it work.
Yeah, that was really crazy. That end game, especially for Skyhook, is really difficult. It got zipped on with no audio, and that feels moment. That was insane. I forgot this wasn't a scrim. It might as well have been. You guys all played it very well. The biggest thing at the very end, the biggest tip I can give is really you gotta occupy space and watch your back. So somebody watch forward, watch back, and live within your own little area. That's one of the hardest things to do though. And we got one more round for today, but I'm on. By the way, whoever Wiley, I thought you were gonna fall off the map there because there was a little lag. I was like nervous for you. Wow, I mean, not gonna lie, that was an intense round, especially as you guys were mass fighting. When things get really intense there, focus fire and moving together is really, really the key component. And you'll see, I would say this is playing out, like I said, sweatier than what I've seen most ALGS matches or scrims play out. I've seen scrims end with only like 3 squads and like there's like nothing going on. I've seen some scrims that don't have this quality of play, and it's really, really nice to see. So I appreciate everyone giving their best effort. Again, I can't stress enough, Mari, that the balancing of the teams is just working really well. So good stuff. So let's talk about the first fight that we really saw the lobby here. Rigid Thermal Heat and Kami. So one of the biggest things here that we're really taking a look at is there was a lot of damage that was done, by the way, from these sky nades and all this cracks is how fast you really have to move. But also you can see from the other end, if you do not stop moving, how easy it is to get away from a team. They just kept running and they did not stop for anything to turn around and look who was behind them, really. One person covered for you a few seconds as you're moving up, but thermal heat, the biggest tip I can provide here is to make sure you don't get too distracted from putting fences down. Your job is to push in that scenario. You have to run towards everything. Because every second, even if you wait 2 seconds, can be the difference between you catching up to the team and shooting them versus not. So that team got away from you. Now, because you were taking shots here, you have to keep in mind that every single scenario where you take a shot, that somebody, especially with the number of teams, heard it. So always make the assumption that somebody heard you taking shots. Keep in mind that snipers have a longer distance from being heard than other weapons. So if you have a 30-30, though, that gun can be heard from like a mile away than other guns. So most people don't remember that, but snipers can be very, very loud in the distance heard. I don't remember the distance. It's been a long time, but that's also a really good tip that people forget about. So if you're using just SMGs, sure, you know, it can be only heard closer, but if you're using a sniper, man, that can be heard from very far across the map. So when you pull the scan, they're so far gone at this point. And I know at this point you're trying to fight. I know your resources are low and you see where they're located. Kami, the best thing I would recommend, try not to get too far away from your team. I get you're trying to run away from the bangle, but if you run away while they're trying to push, even you taking a little bit of extra damage is better to be with the team than away from the team. I get what your process is not to take damage, but losing height and not being there is definitely very scary. Kudos to Rigid as well as Thermal for being aware that you were not there. And then they recess.
Switch your stream.
Oh, shoot. Thank you. Boom. There we go. People on stream. I got it. It's going to be like 30 seconds behind. So, good catch. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sarah caught it.
Yeah. All right. And then everyone's going to at me in chat, and then it was like 30 seconds behind. But at least they haven't missed too much. Not a whole lot was missed. But overall, I mean, what we're covering, just to catch you up, is the fact that this team pushed, and not to be, just to be careful not to, when you take shots, that you're repositioning and running to a different location, ready and watching your back. So always make sure you watch your back and that you're watching different angles. Let's skip ahead just a little bit. This team. Okay, this became a massive cluster. Remember my tip to everyone, being in the center of the map is not a bad thing as long as people are watching different angles. But realistically, whenever it comes to at least the edge of the zone, so whenever I pull up the map again right here. Let's rewind just a little bit. Being in the center, knowing you're in the center, means that you have more variables to account for. If you're playing more on like almost the outskirts around the edge, at least you know what to look for. When you're here, there could be a team here, there could be a team here, there could be a team here, because everyone's goal is to get into zone if they play well, within reason. If you go to zone, you realize that half the lobby is not playing there, then sure, Richard made a pretty good call here by making sure to watch his back, making sure that, hey, there might be another team located here, but trying to reposition from this spot is very, very difficult. The recommendation I can have is to look for cover, look for a building to kind of reset in, rather than trying to traverse an open field. The open field was very, very difficult, especially for Kami. You need to watch for him. Watch for your teammates that are lower HP, especially those that don't have mobility, such as a Watson, a Bloodhound. You know, they have scans. And so what happened here is that everyone decided to show up. Everyone, their grandmother, their sister, everyone decided to show up for Mother's Day, and everyone dogpiles this area. If you know this is going to happen, what can you do is start to isolate and try to get information on what you believe is a full team and what isn't a full team. If you start counting the number, you say you see 4 people, then that's probably at least 2 teams. So what did this team do? They said, screw everyone. They're going to rotate. They've had the smartest rotation by trying to leave early and getting past all of it. So you'll notice that happen, but look how many people are nearby. So when we say looking for information and looking for where opponents are at, that's what you want to do. It's why you see pro teams running Seer. By the way, if you were just a little closer on this spray, this would have been amazing. I said you overextended, but I also want to applaud you for trying. Now, I'm never going to fault somebody for making an effort. Your effort here was really strong by getting that flank. Don't ever lose that, okay? Most people get too afraid to push. Now all you got to work on is the mechanics of it. A good spray by Hollow Shift here. Amazing stuff. Infinite Party's low loot was bad for me, no mobility. Essentially, yes, it sucks. So go to a spot where you believe there is going to be loot and try to get your teammates to move there, and essentially abandon your teammates if they don't move with you. Because you got to get loot. You know, if you don't have a Lobo, I mean, you're not going to get anything. You can't. You gotta leave. Always be the first one to leave when you know resources aren't good, and try to let them know. The zone pull seriously influenced my team to play zone. It does. We're going to talk about that in a little bit too. Skyhook is a very, very difficult area, especially even for pro play, is why when you see it end there, there's always a multitude of teams that fight there. This Seer ult, by the way, I'm glad that you put it down because it was a good indication of use of utility. I would say it's a little too early. The only reason why is even though you're probably fighting this team, you're in an open area. You're not in any buildings, so you don't necessarily are concerned of where they're located. Maybe it was to scare off this team, but it seemed like you guys are pretty healthy to do it without the seer ult. I would say you probably would be more beneficial by holding the seer ult and using it at another time. Junior, Anita, fantastic. You guys were finding opportunities, rotating as a duo, so kudos to you guys. Also, Cynicality and your crew, I noticed you guys were playing a lot more aggressive in terms of finding a spot and finding teams than before. You were playing more of an edge than where I saw before you guys were playing the zone. So, Tempest said I'm not able to view the stream. Do I not have it up on stream?
There's a cap in Discord. Unfortunately, only 50 people can watch the Discord stream.
Gotcha. I didn't even know that. Well, that's good to know. But it's
out, so one person can take the spot I was watching.
Yeah. We're not on Twitch. We're on YouTube, by the way, just as a FYI. But that's good to know. I actually didn't know that, so I learned something new every day. But look at us pushing the limits of Discord. So on terms of this team, I know that Anita, Junior, good job on rotating and finding a space in, occupying space as a duo, intimidating people, scaring people. Let's skip ahead. This is where it gets so chaotic for you guys, where all of you guys are alive. There's still 18 squads, and there's a lot of buildings. The hard part about this is always trying to find the building that's going to be furthest in, and then assessing what would be the largest threat. I think that this theme of this round is to ensure what the largest threat is going to be in the scenario. Whenever you're trying to find a building, it's always going to be make sure one person is watching your back, one person is watching the front, and then try to say, where do you want to go next? Even though you're safe now, always have the foresight of where you want to be. Now, there's a lot more areas to play than you realize. I'm going to highlight it from a lot of different squads so you can learn what that looks like. So skip ahead. Let's go to the more intense moments here in just a second. Oh, another big tip right here when we talk about holding different spots. So I'm going to freeze frame here. Everyone can learn from this. Notice how you'll notice the indicators. Try to be very aware of what you see on your mini map. Okay, there we go. On the mini map, on the upper left-hand corner here, notice that everyone is looking the same direction. Now, the downside of this, okay, of what you're seeing is everyone's looking the same direction. I know it's more fun to always be the person who is shooting ahead and getting your damage up, but look what ends up happening in the scenario where you end up having a team that sneaks up on you. You have a seer. If you have a seer, nobody should ever walk up on you. Now, the plus side is you did throw the seer ult defensively to push. Now, my note to the team that had the jump on them, technically you guys should have won this fight a lot more efficiently because you had the jump on the opponent. And it's always hard to shoot an opponent that has their back turned, that's moving, that isn't trying to dodge you, but just moving sporadically because they're trying to shoot somebody else. If you get the jump on the opponent, that's a mechanical issue, or if you shot too early before your teammates are ready to shoot. So just be very, very aware of those two things. Were my teammates ready to shoot? And whenever I shot, did I do effective damage? If you shot and you didn't even get much of a crack or slow them down, then that's the downside of it. So seer, always kind of watch the back, try to watch for information. I know it's boring not to be the one to shoot forward, but you only need to push forward whenever a crack happens. Also, here's another one. You probably will miss this. Your teammates, where they focus fire is key. Your teammate isn't done shooting, but then you don't look where your teammate is shooting. You guys could have gotten a free kill there. Another free kill, extra KP, extra cleanup. And then you guys focus fire the individual down. You know that there was another team nearby, but nobody is watching. Actually, one of you guys watching. Well, not really. You see on the mini-map, 2 people are in the box and 1 is running away. Nobody's watching. It's always so important that somebody watches for the squad. That somebody's actually holding and saying, okay, where's our next fight? What's going on? Where can we rotate to? Don't get too locked into the box. Don't get too obsessed about loot. If you obsess about loot and you say, I have to grab that purple stock, and then you get shot for 50 damage, was that stock really worth it? People nitpick this all the time on YouTube. They say, how come you didn't go for the stock? You missed this. Listen, it is much more important to hold for your team and look for the next rotation. There you go. Was this worth getting cracked right there? I know you're dealing with a solo, but now you have to use a full battery, and then you have to worry about it. You never know who's looking. It could be a rat who's trying to grief your game. Rigid had a Kraber, and he's ready to rock pretty much with it. We relate to the late analysis since I got distracted while reviewing our looting. No worries at all. No worries at all. You're perfectly fine. Now, the question is assessing in this scenario, when we're looking at where the whole lobby is, try to have the foresight. You take a building, where do you want to go next, and where are you going to live? Also, Tilpa, if you have this many teams in the area, it's probably not a good idea to hit beacon. If you hit beacon and that team decided to shove you, you would have been eliminated. That was a very hard and scary beacon. I know you're trying to look for information, but don't worry about what the rest of the lobby is. Try to focus on the micromanagement of your own game overall. That would probably be my biggest advice and tip. Otherwise, if you hit that and you went down, I mean, now you're going through a full bat and a full med kit, or you're going through 4 cells and then a full pack of syringes. And every bit of resources, utility at the end of the game is so important. So be very, very careful with that. Did they pick POIs like scrims, ALGS? No, actually. Everyone was dropping randomly. Everyone was, these are randomized teams. So no, they did not get to pick beforehand. This is how it would normally feel if you were just playing with randoms. But luckily, I mean, these random skill level is between gold all the way to masters and some prior preds. So this would be a mechanical issue, by the way. I want to point this out when you ask, when do I need to focus on my aim and what do I need to do? So you had the jump on them here and you guys are focus firing. In this scenario, this person kind of got away from you and you're both shooting. There's 2 people shooting 1 person that took a little bit too long to do. So in the scenarios when you're feeling this pressure and this pinch and everything, this is where you can clean up your abilities essentially. But yeah, that's where people always ask a question, when can I work on it? Like Oval, you can work on it, slow it down. You know, you feel that pressure. Good on you for going for the res. The other person decided to leave. But because this fight wasn't clean, you got run up on. The idea is to always make sure the fight is as clean as possible, and then your mechanics help the fight get cleaner so that not everyone gets knocked. If you're looking at 2 people shooting the same person and they don't go down almost instantaneously, it's a mechanics problem. Easy solve, because then you just got to hit the range and then get used to that pressure. That pressure does a lot to you. Remember that pressure from this class where you feel like everyone's shooting at you and it's nerve-wracking. Where do I look? What do I do? Remember that pressure. Slow it down. Look at this VOD later. Remember what I'm telling you today. And keep it in mind when you're training and what that feels like. If you feel that pressure and you feel overwhelmed and your mechanics go out the window, it means you need to practice more. And then especially for everybody, even if you're playing baseball, basketball, football, any sport, whatever it is, remember your fundamentals are always key, because your fundamentals are the first thing that always go out the window. That's why everyone says, oh, it's back to basics, back to fundamentals. That's why that saying is always there. Try to give as much context and why it's so important. This team, some tips here for this team, shooting the barrels, focus firing areas to clear out is very, very important. Be aware of where your teammates are moving. Syndicality and Czars are doing a pretty solid job of saying, okay, we're going to move here. Pay attention to where your team is moving, especially when they move, because Timu, you could have gotten, Timujin, you could have gotten eliminated here because you fell behind. I know when the ping, it might have been a little late. Don't focus fire. Don't get too locked into a bubble. This is probably one of the hardest things every Apex Legends player has to learn, is that you need to be able to focus and zoom in on the location and have really good aim. And then instantly you need to be told, okay, well, now I need to be aware at the same time. That's a very hard skill set to learn. The only way to learn the skill set, again, fundamentals. So you're hearing fundamentals, focus fire, and paying attention. You guys are caught out of zone. You get eliminated here. There's nothing you guys could have done besides running to zone. The hard lesson learned that the zone really hurts after zone 4. Have the foresight on that. Shove somebody, move forward. It's really all you guys can do. In this scenario, good push here. Good ducking and weaving. I know you're getting shot from multiple angles. That was partially on me. I was IGL, wasn't talking super loud there. Regardless, I want all of you guys to be very aware, whether your IGL is speaking out or not, to be aware of what your IGL and people are doing. Because if you're ever playing with randoms, be very, very self-aware on where they're moving to. Good ducking and weaving for Mocat and Nuke here. The downside is that you guys get thirded, but I want to point out that you guys went for it, you guys backed out, you went for it, you backed out. So, pretty solid, not too bad. Now, in terms of assessing the most dangerous threat, right now, the reason why Nuke and Mocat are focusing on the far left over here is because this is pretty much your most dangerous threat, by the way. And the reason why is because that's the team that's about to run up on them. I know Nuke, you got to pay attention to your teammate. Mocat could have communicated. This is why I say it's like a relationship. I joke about this all the time. It literally feels like a relationship. It's a two-way street. People could say, I could have communicated and told you to move. Well, you could have paid attention. It's a two-way street. Both sides need to kind of own up to what happened there. Mocad could say, oh, I could have told him, and then the other person could have said, oh, I could have been aware you're moving. Two-way street, both own up to the fact that there was a mistake there, and then just you'll play better for it. Also, your teammates are going to love you for it. Mocad can also chime in and say it's very difficult when teammates always make it seem like it's your fault. When it always feels like it's your fault, there's no room for improvement, okay? Whenever you're playing with randoms, anybody who's watching this video, whether it's stream or what you're saying, it's a two-way street. It's not just one person. One person can always counteract the call, can always do something different. If both parties own up to it and figure out where the fault is, and you can find a silver lining, and both of you can improve. But if one person decides to shut down and say, my teammates suck, they're the worst in the whole world, honestly, you're never going to improve. Especially when you're in these high-pressure situations, because nobody plays it perfectly. Now, I'm going to pinpoint this moment right here with Jose, Casual, and the Steez. Now, there's always space to play. I know it's very difficult to find this space, and this comes with map knowledge. If you don't have the map knowledge, go play pubs and kind of just explore. Your KD, this is why when people say obsess about KD, don't worry about your KD. Sometimes I've gone in the map and just explored the area to understand where all the little nooks and areas are that I've never noticed before. I've done that. I've just thrown my game, got hot, hopped in solo, and kind of explored because I need to learn the map. That's what I did early on. See how there's this space here? Look at the space. It's free. It's literally free for them for now. Now, it's clear that they need to move in, but if you're moving in, what can you do in these scenarios? You need to have, if you decide to occupy the space, one person hold the door, one person watch the hall, and one person watch over here. You want to make sure all your angles are accounted for. It's much easier when you're playing an edge to have all your angles accounted for. So whenever you feel like you're lost, slow it down and everyone look at a different angle. Mirage is amazing for that, by the way. See how this team is looking? They're looting, but you need to assess where somebody else could be looking at. Look at Mariana's just over here. He could headshot any one of you. You never know who's watching, right? Somebody is watching me. You never know. You know, DMCA takedown, stream goes down forever. But this is hard. You see how like you could put a wall here, and you can watch the stairs and watch the angle, and then you can hold. It's hard in the moment to tell you where to play. You just have to find those little areas that just seem like they're impossible to hold. One person watches front, one person watches back, and so forth. And the stream was never seen again. Wait, oh yeah, oh, I love that song. Good hold on the roof. In terms of assessing threats, if you're on the roof, your threat is here, right? Try to assess where you believe the biggest threat is. Some people are probably looking down, or probably looking this way. Assess where your biggest threat is always, and pay attention to it. Otherwise, this happens. This is where you try to assess where the biggest threat was coming from. Notice how nobody was watching that spot. And, oh, I accidentally tabbed it out. Okay, there we go. And you can say, well, I heard shots from that angle, but somebody has to be watching it, right? Somebody has to notice that pad. And then you probably could have caught Mari out up there sooner if you had the foresight to look that area. I know that's really tricky, though. That's a Watson wallpaper, 100%. I always have Watson wallpaper. That's always hard to do in hindsight, but always somebody should watching a different angle. Hopefully this next go around, you guys are more aware, watching different angles. Not everyone's watching the same spot or holding the same spot. You're looking for information. Also, kudos to the Bangalore, by the way. In the instance I had collided with a Crayburn down another, I said, I feel like I padded early and left my team. Is that true? No, I mean, that was your play. You're out in the open. If they caught you sooner, you were going to die. That was pretty much it. Or you're going to drop down on the other team. If you got a Kraber and you collided, that was your play. If you waited any second sooner, that was kind of it. I would say that was the best play that you could have made. Everyone just has to move on it right away. Because then you could have had the roof at the end and then reassess and then collect it. Otherwise, where were you going to play? Underneath? Or you guys already decided to play the bridge, so if you're just going to stand out in the open, there's nothing else you could have done. By the way, it's never over till it's over. Notice that nobody was watching the angle for the crypto. Crypto got beamed. This is a 1v1 isolation at that point. Watson's trying to fence and not shoot. Don't troll your enemies, even if it's the ending of the match. Let me out. Honestly, just needed to land one extra PK shot. Otherwise, you would have had it, man. I'm going to be honest. You were so close to clutching that out. That was insane. That was an insane ender right there. Let me out. Literally almost got it. And that squad name is crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go into the last round. Keep that in mind for this last round. Watch for your teammates. Be aware of your teammates. One person watch back. One person watch forward. Don't obsess about your damage. I know it's easier said than done, especially when you're trying to be super flashy with everything you're doing. So last squads. Hopefully we have a full lobby for the last one. We were only short one team, but as you can tell, everyone played it very, very sweaty. So I'm going to segue back to the gameplay capture, and then I'm going to close this out. And I'm going to put the code in chat. We have Urban and Crony, so yeah, we're going to have a full round guaranteed. I'll post the code in chat in just a moment. So give me a second to load up the lobby, and we'll get started. Okay, we have that. And then I'll put the code for everybody. Everyone. Last round. Alrighty, last round, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Let's make sure I'm sharing the right POV. Looks good. We're good to record. Oh, man. Good rounds, everybody. That's a lot. Don't forget to drink water. I'm trying to keep my sugar levels up. Oh, don't worry. I always keep the VODs up. I never delete a VOD. My years of streaming on YouTube, about a year and a half now, I've yet to ever delete a VOD. Whether I had a good day, a bad day, I've never deleted a VOD. Even whenever the stream is split and I crash, I'll leave it up. All right, everyone's piling in. We definitely have more bodies this go around, so I guarantee we'll have a full lobby. I know somebody had to leave because they have an event. We have Crony, we have Urban to be able to step in. I'll post the code as well in the YouTube membership section on Discord, so you guys can hop back in, but I need to assess if people are leaving or what's going on or if people came back. The last round. Last round, everybody. Hopefully you're enjoying. If you're enjoying, don't forget to leave a like. Hopefully there's a lot of tips here, just for everybody watching. I know that it's a lot for a masterclass. After this round, we do the full analysis and breakdown. Probably be around 3 o'clock. The stream will end. I'm gonna sit with everyone for a full hour and do a Q&A section with everyone. That's their full hour to be with me. I wanted to share it as well on stream, so the people who enjoyed the masterclass could see it. It's forever on YouTube. They had their moment on YouTube. They learned a lot. They could see what happened, and yeah, that's kind of what I'm shooting for essentially. I just wanted to be very transparent what our goals were and what we're trying to do.
Gabe said he can be here in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
If we need.
Yeah, we definitely are probably gonna need him.
Okay.
It'll fill up. We'll see how close we get, because I gotta post this code for the members, like Thermal as well. I know he wanted to hop in from before.
Yeah.
I just don't know how many people. We'll see. We'll see how it all fills out. But solid at least. You know, we're right there. One person, I believe, Kirk had to go because he had a family thing, so he was only able to show up for the first 2. Now, it would be crazy, but I'm so confident that they're all learning so much that if somebody came to me and said, I hated the masterclass, I said it before, I'll say it again, I would literally refund them. But it's also really cheap, so it's only $3. So I'd be kind of shocked. I'd be like, dude, it's $3. At least everyone was able to take it really seriously. So, Anita, are you still here?
Yeah.
How would you say the lobbies feel compared to actual scrims, which is supposed to be pro training?
Honestly, bro, this is more competitive.
That's actually crazy to hear. Like, everyone is like holding positionings and like there's tips to give, but like
nobody plays zone in scrims, and especially like, dude, comparing this to women's comp, this is like eons better.
It's crazy how like you guys are playing it safe, holding angles. Like there's things to clean up. I can see on every
like,
end.
I am genuinely playing zone.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Instead of just playing hard edge.
Somebody type, Anita, can you teabag my box if you kill me this round? Wow. Okay. GG's. Yeah, the event.
Roller for this game?
Oh my god. That sounds horrible. All right. Hopefully in 5 minutes we can get started. We'll do the full breakdown, and then, yeah. I really appreciate everyone who came by. Hopefully it was a fun experience across the board. I can't believe this all came together. I'm just so happy it came together. Okay, I've been stressing about this for like months. I've been like so panicked, you know? I'm not gonna lie, I've just been so worried. I just wanted this to go well. I wanted the lobbies to be taken seriously. I wanted everyone to learn. I wanted it to have value. I didn't want to just like, the goal wasn't to make money. It was just, I just wanted people to step away and say, hey, thank you, Dazs. I really felt like this was a lot of learning, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, what are we looking at? We got Urban, Anita. I'm gonna drag you guys to Anita, at least put you in 20. Urban and you. I'm gonna put the code in you moved somewhere. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll move team 3, I think, left. So I'm gonna put the code in the YouTube membership. So if you're a member on the YouTube channel, hey, these are the perks, right?
It should be here in like 2 or 3.
Okay. Let me see here. I'm putting it in the Discord member chat. I can figure out where that's at. Boom. Okay. See who opts in, because then we can get thermal. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 at this point. We just need to fill up. Yeah, I'm really happy that you guys are enjoying it. It looks fun to play. Like I feel like I would have a lot of fun just playing it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Gabriel!
Is he able to get in?
Yeah, he's right here.
Where is he?
Give him voice prompts.
Oh, nice. You gave him
Give
voice
him
prompt.
back, nerd.
Let's go. Okay, move this person here.
Okay,
Move
we
this
see
person
2
here.
people.
We got
We
Crony.
need
We
2
need-
slots.
Yeah, Crony's 1, and then we just need 1 more afterwards, and then we're pretty much ready. Where the Discord member chat, by the way, is it a separate server? DM me and I can give you the code. It is. You just have to verify. You got to match your Discord membership. I can't assign that role because it's just mixed in. You have to like merge it with your Discord and say, hey, I have a membership here. And once you do, you like verify for like everything you become a member for. Same with like Twitch, is the same process. If you could shoot me a DM right now, then I can give you the code because that would be like the last slot.
All right, that works. I'm gonna jump back in with Nessa, and then we can all go to our voice channels.
Sounds good.
Just wanted to make sure I didn't need to move anyone around, but it sounds like we're good. So
All right, move Cronian, and we just have 1 more. I'll send you a pic. I mean, just DM me right now if you can. And then you're literally in. I can get you in. Because you're a member here, so... Listen, if you got a membership, at least I can give you something, you know? Okay, gotcha. All right, hop on in. You're going to be a part of Team 10. I think that's the person, CC Saga? Unless somebody just took your spot. Oh no, now we have too many people. Okay, well, I guess it's kind of first come, first serve. If you want to spectate Nitro, you can. Because I put it in the membership Discord, so CC Saga is a member. So it was kind of, but if you would like to spectate and watch, I mean, by all means, you can spectate and watch. It's definitely a good way to do it. I'll drag you over so you can watch. You can spectate the full lobby. All right, I think we're good to go. I'm just gonna DM let you know. Another member hopped in, moved you to spectator, so you can control who you want to watch. That's a perk, you know. At least you get to watch. And you literally, if I miss the action, he can watch whatever they want. So that's a perk in itself. Okay, let's get started. Last round. Good luck. Have fun. Watch your angles. Watch behind. Be aware of team shooting. Win. All right, let's do it. I'm not the perfect observer. I've spent a hot minute since I've done any shoutcasting. This is me. It's not really. I'm not really shoutcasting. I'm trying to look for moments to teach. That's the biggest thing. So I'm not necessarily commenting on what is happening per se. I'm trying to comment on what things could be fixed and improved upon. That's the goal. So kudos to everyone who's playing it really, really well. Take these resources with you within the community and help. Is it mouse bros and controller? The irony. I mean, we have a lot of controllers. There's a lot of console people in here too. Some people who can't use Discord. I told them it's fine. You know the reason why it's fine? Because you never know who you're going to get paired up with, right? All right. Don't be afraid to take space. We'll see how players do. This is the last round, but it's the fullest round. Everyone's here. And by the way, Crony is a Masters player. I know he's in the Discord. But I mean, like, the lobby's only going to get sweatier at this point. We got some players who really know what they're doing. A lot of people have even seen comps. So, I mean, your squad members and who these players are squatted up with, there's a lot to learn. It gives them a lot of insight. So let's go ahead and hit record. And last round, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this masterclass, don't forget to leave a like. Every little bit helps. I really wanted to do it live so you guys can see what it looked like. Hopefully the experience is positive, and I just wanted it transparent. I wanted to always hold myself accountable, make sure that's educational, that they're getting value, that you guys aren't missing out on something, that it's inclusive, that everyone feels like they're a part. That's my goal. I just really wanted to do something different. Like I said, I've yet to ever see this done before, so we see people land unless we see a 50-50 right off drop, which so far doesn't seem like anybody's 50-50ing each other. When I say 50-50, that means that people who are just like one half take here, one half take here, right? But yeah, the goal is I've never seen a class where they broke down after a scrims, you know, or really sat down. I mean, coaches do that, but they never have the POV of every other player, right? And because they're missing that POV, I feel like you're missing out on the whole educational side on what the other side was thinking. When we do the Q&A portion, let's take a look here. What's happening in staging? They already got an early knock. They did take height. This other team's a little bit on the low ground. Oh, wow. Look at that. Team knocked out early. They got to hurry up because the team does have height over here. A lot of teams landed there. Interesting spot to kind of land in. Didn't even realize they had all contested right on top of each other right there. Two teams already eliminated off drop. I missed it. That's my bad. I just didn't see it as we're kind of explaining what was going on and what the goal of the course for today is. You know, these things happen, but nonetheless, we'll keep a pretty close eye on what's going on. If you're just tuning in, just a reminder what this is. It's a YouTube masterclass we put together that's educational. They got to be careful. Somebody watch from. Hopefully they can heal and cover. Being on the low ground is not fun. They need to rotate out. You cannot hold this angle. There you go. Nice. Very aware that they cannot win this fight. They can hold another angle to be there. Loba can queue over if she needs to, which is positive. But you know, your job is to resource. It looks like the best option would be to go to trials in this scenario, because you know there's another team located pretty nearby. You know, also what we're seeing more of, we're seeing a lot more Lobas this round. Let's take a look. We got a Loba on this team. Loba, 3. Increase in Lobas. I mean, listen, if you're not getting loot, what do you need? You know, start grabbing loot with the Loba ult. So something is better than nothing. This team is about to potentially get run up on. But now they see what's going on. They're definitely going to fight this here. Urban has an angle, but has to be very, very careful on what they're looking at because this team is running right at them. They're trying to isolate who's by themselves, which before it was that team. And we're looking at a sandwich here. This is not looking good. They need to play together. Man versus Merrick is about to get caught out here by himself. Nobody took any damage. And now this squad got completely sandwiched. The only thing they could have done is just play together, maybe play the building. You have bank smokes, you can rotate out, which is what they're doing right now. They can craft the banner back up, which is good. And now they're out of the fight. At least they can get the banner back. That's the beauty. Get the banner back, heal back up. Everything is good. Everything is back to normal. They do have the low ground here. But they are aware that they're present. Now that he's been cracked, the other teammates need to hold for him, to hold his angle, to hold his position. Give him time to heal up. And now they need to swap back and forth. Now Tin Man needs to cover for them as well. Some solid damage done. Going to provide a nade for a bit more cover. They're going to climb on ultimate height though. and put that pressure. Good on Syndicality for holding. The C-roll to stop the pressure so they get more time to heal. It is hard when nobody in your team has verticality. This is one of the downsides of probably this comp, is when you realize nobody, like if they had a Horizon, they can go up into height and start blasting. But now they're kind of forced to kind of play the low ground if that team decides to take height, which is what they had. They had, well, this team has a lot of verticality. They can take height right here, which is what they're doing. And Vantage can get up. Every single one of the team is a lot more mobile than their roster. Now, granted, they have a gen down, but notice that really catches them out. So what can this team do in this scenario? Well, realistically, what they can do is keep backing up until they have equal playing field. But if you realize that a lot of them have positioning, wow, good counterplay by the Octane by giving them height, taking it right back from them, and isolating them out. The Vantage decides to leave and no longer becomes a good play. This team had all of the pressure. They should have definitely won this fight because they had more angles. But really, really big kudos to Syndicality for putting that jump pad in there and countering that pressure and giving them height. The only mobility they have is Octane. So until they have that jump pad, that's really all they can wait for. So that's a really, really solid fight on their part. Definitely deserves praise. When you don't have height, well, only thing you can do is just have your own verticality. Scraps is trying to make a play here. Has to be very careful as another person flies in. Got a crack, but unfortunately one's behind. And is going to get eliminated due to zone as well as just getting blasted. So they clean that up. They have a long rotation in. There's still 16 squads still alive. A lot of people are taking it a lot more seriously. They got their teammate back in. But now they have to worry about a team on the right and a team on the left. So their resources are going to be cut down significantly because of that. The idea is not to lose a teammate. Because if you have to go through this rotation of trying to get teammates back up and doing everything you need to do, it's a nightmare to try to recover from it. Very, very difficult. Let's take a look as the teams rotate in. They have a good spot here. They don't have any zone information. You can take an educated guess that it might move up to epicenter, maybe. It could put over to the right, and maybe pull over to the left. I don't think it's going to pull south based on what we see. Let's take a look at the choke here. Insta headshot we came in from Hodel. Fantastic hold on her part. Has to get a little bit more damage in. She's holding for her teammates. They do have some solid pressure. No team is nearby right now. Technically, based on that, they could make a play. They do have height. They do have a pretty strong opportunity here. So Hodel's deciding to hold for the team. Unfortunately, one gets cracked. One thing that Watsons need to be careful of, I'm glad that somebody is watching the back, but to always be careful not to get too sidetracked from what the ideal pressure, what the first goal is. And in this scenario, it looks like they intend to really fight. Well, if they're holding, let's take a look at this other fight. Seer, we just caught the action as they got the knock. It looks like they overextended there. They're waiting for their teammate to put pressure, and they have an ult to push forward. This is a moment where I'd say you got the knock, you need to use your ult and push forward and clean this up quick. Why do I say you need to clean up quick? Because you have another teammate from a distance over there that's about to push in. This is where you need to 100% move in, and we got to be careful for those cat walls because you can't really push through them. But you can't let them breathe, and you give them a lot of breathing room. So when you're talking about Seer offensive pressure, move forward, throw that Seer ult down to put that pressure on the team so you know when they're rezzing. Right now, they got the res and you let them reset. And because of that, you have another team located nearby. Look how fast they were able to reset from that knock. The Seer, get the knock, move forward, use your utility. Tell the Maggie to throw her ball down so you can put pressure and move forward. Otherwise, if you don't clean it fast enough, what happens is you become the sandwich. You get stuck. You get pushed. You don't want to get pushed. You don't want to become the sandwich. You want to be the one putting the pressure. This is still an isolated fight. If you didn't use the Seer ult now would be another good moment to push it forward once you identify where they're located. If the intention is to fight. If you have no intention to fight, rotate. So it looks like they're opting to rotate instead. But, I mean, I know they're concerned about the team that's located behind, which is the biggest concern. So let's just keep a close eye on this because now this team is putting the pressure back. They're putting the pressure back on that team and saying, you know what, you got the knock on us before, but we're confident and we're going to take height from you, and now they're going to gate them out. You hear the Seer down below. They still have their ult. The ult counter pressure's there. One of them is pretty close by. If they can get at least a scan, they already use their scan. They got to be careful because there's other teams located nearby. One team did get eliminated, but we're going to keep an eye on this action right here to see how they manage to play this out. There's the pressure. They are flesh. This is your moment to kind of push forward. The other two are healthy, so the other two teammates should push forward on that. They have a lot of damage in. They have to move forward instead of using them for rotation. They have them on flesh, but decided to back out from the fight, which I'm kind of surprised about. They're giving them a lot more respect than they probably should, especially if they got that damage. I know one person got cracked and was low, but then your other 2 healthy teammates can definitely put pressure to move forward. Because of zone, they decide to opt out to rotate. It's not a bad thing. At least they're together. So if I were to review this, I would say, you know what, at least you're together, but they're taking out that, and they say, you know what, you're not leaving. There's a lot of back and forth between these 2 teams. And they got another one. And they're probably going to blast that one out as well. Look at it go. Let's see what they do once they take it out. They're not letting them move from this at all. See if they get it out in time, and they do. One of them leaves, but now they're separate. They know to isolate that opponent out really far. Perhaps they should take out the duo squad instead. Wow, they are very, very split on their fight right there. Now they should go for the duo. The duo, at least they can win 100%.
Let's go this way.
They need to top off before their enemies run up on them, which they're about to. I think they're looking for where they're located, but they're very, very split. In the meantime, let's take a look at this fight that's happening over here. We got a lot of more Bangalores located in this lobby, too. Looks like they got a scan, got some information. Bangalore and Bloodhound or Seer is a great combo. Putting up a smoke wall and finding out where that pressure is located. And isolating out opponents. Nemesis is a fantastic rifle. Always good. There might be the knock there in just a second. If they can secure that, man, they have to be like 1 HP. And they got to secure that space. I would just keep moving forward. Don't be afraid about securing space. As you're taking shots, move forward. Take shots, move forward. Take shots, move forward. One more bullet at least. Oh, man, that hurts. That's so close. All thing you can do in that scenario is just keep practicing your aim and just try to improve. Because otherwise, those are knocks where you say you should have those knocks. And those are areas to say, okay, when do I know I need to improve? Moments like that. And it's okay, because mechanics are easier to fix than synergy and comms. Synergy can be very difficult to fix, especially if the team just doesn't have good communication. A lot of squads playing it pretty safe. Everyone's occupying an area. Oh, let's take a look. They did actually engage on this fight, and they're actually shoving forward, and they do get this cleanup. So the only thing the other team could have done here was to probably move up to height. I know that that's hard because there's a team located here that's really gating. Let's take a look at what Crony's team is doing, because they're about to gate pretty much just about everybody here. I know they're not aware of the team running up, but they are about to move up on them. This is Anita versus Crony. They're about to move up. This could be a really interesting fight if they locate where they're at. They're watching angles. Notice everyone's watching a different angle now. There they go. They located the squad. Very, very important. They got a wall up. See if they decide to fight this or they decide to rotate. Oh man, that damage right there. That damage on that Valkyrie. Was that Anita? Oh my gosh, she almost got knocked there. They are in shambles. This is rough. That means, they're pretty much going to get shoved in that scenario. That's pretty much it. Crony came in hot with some of those ranged shots, and he just was not missing. You got to crack back. Let's see how they managed to pull this off. They do have height on them. They do have the height if they were to move forward on this.
I have eyes on the enemy.
He's listening to where they're located. He hears them underneath. See if they manage to look down on this and manage to do something. There was a res that just occurred. It can't get too distracted by the res. They hear them right underneath, and the question is, are they going to be able to secure anything? Massive damage going out. Probably screaming for his teammates to help. One person is way too far behind, looking at somebody completely different. If he fired on the left, that would be more important. Granted, to watch the back, but don't obsess too much about the back, right? You gotta make sure to hold some presence, because when you're focus firing, you know where the immediate danger is, right? If you know that's where the team is located. This team decides to run up on this other squad that decided to res. They're clearing out their angles. They're clearing out their backs. And there they go. They decide to Valk ult. Oh, taking a little damage, and they decide to rotate. And there it is. Some pretty intense fights that are happening. Let's take a look at this fight. We saw this earlier. This team finally ran up back on top of each other. They're the Nessie fans. I know it's always scary to see shots coming from a distance, but as long as you got your back clear, there's nothing necessarily to worry about. They're keeping up that constant pressure here. Trying to find their space in, and they're not really giving it to them. They're not in, but if they manage to get... there's the crack. There's the pressure. From the back, at least. At least I don't have to worry too much about their back. But they do need to find space in. That's their goal. Find space in. They got one of the knocks, so all they got to do is get healthy. Watch for their teammate. There's the armor swap for Gaben. Gabe's going in there. He's got the armor swap, hopefully. Watch out. He's got a Phoenix kit. They're watching for their teammates. The other team decided to rotate just a little bit out. They're holding that one back area. Getting cracked in this scenario when zone's closing is always really, really scary. Oh, man. There's the Kraber hit. But fast revive. Probably should have waited. Oh, my gosh. Server shutting down. We got a hard crash? Did we just get a hard crash, everybody? Oh, man. Wow, that was a really good round, too. Oh, my gosh. Man. All right, well, we'll just have to pull up another code. I think the server just completely crashed. Wow, that's a unfortunate. Okay, well, we'll go again. We'll bring another code. Everyone, server crashed.
I'll go back down.
Let's hop back in. All right. Yeah. It crashed for everyone. Let's put another code. We have another one. We'll get back into the next game and we'll just start again. But everyone crashed. That's really, really unfortunate. Let me see the code that we had before. Probably a sign, right? All right, let's see here. It looks like everyone crashed. We'll get a code for everyone, and I'm going to post it here in just a second. Give me 1 second here. And then we'll do our debrief off stream, because by that point we'll have our full round, and then we'll answer questions and do Q&A. So it'll be a little longer, but I'll be sure to kind of mix the two and kind of save some time there. So we'll still be on track. Don't worry, guys. I'm posting another server code in just a second. We'll go back to another server, so hold on. Everyone crashed, so unfortunately. Everyone crashed all at once, which is fun. We'll go again. Believe that's a new one. It should be a new one. Yep. Wow, I can't believe everyone crashed out. That was insane. All right. Let's get back in and try to at least get a full round. And then we'll do the analysis together at the end and kind of talk through some stuff, all right? So new code is up, so everyone can hop back in. We'll get a full lobby. That was going to turn out to be a really good game. I'm sad that crashed.
Dude, I had a Kraber!
You, by the way, you got shredded by Crony. Crony absolutely destroyed you.
Bro, for real, I was like,
Wait, we were rushing Crony?
who's
Yeah.
good?
Really?
Yeah, he was the
No.
Loba. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, someone who can name.
Alright, conspiracy. Crony shut the server down. He didn't want to die to us.
Yeah.
True!
That was insane.
My god.
All right, well, I guess you guys get another chance. You guys get an extra round, so, I mean, I guess it's not a bad
If I
thing.
don't get a Kraber again, I'm gonna cry.
All right, we go again. Hop into your lobbies. I don't remember the people who were supposed to get codes. They're supposed to hop in. Let's see here. Let me share it in the other Discord here. New code. Okay. Oh man, that sucks. All right, we'll get back in. Looks like we're filling up pretty quick. Same squad, same teams. Just need to get everyone back in. At least we're still on time. We'll make sure it stays on time. We'll do the debrief after stream, and everyone on stream can at least see the last round. Could you imagine if that was ALGS and that crashed? Whoo, man, that'd be crazy. I mean, it has happened, to be fair. Okay, let's see here. All right, almost there, almost there. Almost got everyone.
Yeah, one person just said that they had an AFK teammate. Probably not expecting an extra game.
Ah, I gotcha.
We can probably break up one of the.
I think we're full now because we have thermal heat. Maybe there's a mint crow and war spite. So 3 more slots. Essentially, we should be good to go now. I think thermal
Are
heat
those
is the-
people that you added in as extra?
Yeah, they were YouTube members.
Okay.
But I think we're full. I think we're good.
Yeah, Sarah's back as well. She crashed again too.
Most
'cause-
observers are
Uh-huh.
back. That's good. I think we're good otherwise. I think we can
all right,
start.
we should make sure that nobody that's supposed to be here isn't though. I think we give it like an extra like 30 seconds just so if like somebody's like, wait, I'm here, you know.
Why is our team tag this? What team are they a part of? Bonap? I have no probably because Crony named themselves that. I think we're good otherwise.
And nobody's saying anything, so I'm gonna say that's good enough.
I'm gonna take that as a good one as well. I want to make sure
All right.
everyone gets a good round in. That was intense though. That was fun to watch. That was crazy.
Wait, Team 10 just lost somebody.
Oh, who's in Team 10
I don't know, but somebody's typing in chat.
and Team
Let's
10?
see what they say.
Mint Crow, they coming back? Not on Discord. It could be a YouTube member because I didn't see them last time.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay. Maybe we move either Junior or Anita to that squad.
Yeah, all right, I'll let them know. real
Okay.
quick.
All right, everybody. Then we'll get started here. This is gonna be the last round. We had a crash. It was an intense round there. Exciting to see. We'll see how it all shapes up. Why is no one playing new agents? We saw Ballistic there. Definitely saw Ballistic. Gotta go mow the roof. What? All right. I think we're good. The duo squad in 20 should be fine. Unless Nyx has somebody. Unless they have a friend. Trying to see. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, I think we're set. Unless like one more random person can hop in, but I think we got just about everyone we can. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we definitely try to fill up because I know we're getting towards the end of the day essentially. Then we'll do Q&A. We'll break down that round, and I'll just put in a mass chat because at that point everyone can speak out and have their voice. All right. Got a friend to share code. Otherwise, we will start. See if she's got a friend. They have a friend, sorry. Are they able to hop in? Let's see here. Oh, wait, okay. That's the person we're missing. I was looking through. All right, we're missing Syndicality. That's who we're missing. Probably mispronouncing their name. But I don't know who Kinoko is. So I'm going to move Syndicality to Anita's crew. and just randomize it. I know who was saying that they were missing them. And then I'll move this other person to team to spectator because I don't know who Kinoko is. Okay, now we should be good. Now we have a full lobby. All right, let's do it. Okay, yeah, Dustin just hopped in as a member. Okay, I got it. We're good, we're good. Sorry about that. We had to just figure out the back end. There's some people, obviously we're getting towards the end of the day. May not be able to count for the last squad. Hopefully this is it. This is the last one. Okay. Oh, don't forget to drink water. Don't forget to stretch. It's been a busy day. Oh, man. What's going to happen after this round? I know usually we have the full debrief live on stream. Once this round ends, I'm going to open up the mics for everyone who participated in the class. I'm going to do the breakdown live with them and talk it through. And the people who need to go, they go, because I want to speed up that process a little bit. And yeah, we're vibing. We're making it happen. Honestly, we were seeing a lot of a variety in terms of legends played. I mean, even the fact I saw Mirage being played was pretty interesting. Okay. Again, I appreciate all your support on the channel. It's been amazing. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot from this event. Hopefully you guys have all learned a lot as well. Full squad again. Appreciate the people who have been filling in. Shout out to all friends who have been filling in, helping making this possible today. I know it's Mother's Day, but it means the absolute world, so I really, really appreciate it. Alrighty.
Let's make a varsity play for the deck.
See if anybody, make sure we don't miss any of the early action. So we got some teams landing south here. See if anybody decides to 50-50. So again, what a 50-50 means is if a team takes one half and another team takes another, well, what is that going to look like? Are they going to land on top of each other? So we got to make sure, are we going to miss any early fights? They're really close to each other over there. That's a pretty close fight. We're going to keep a close eye on that. And then also the team south here, we got this separate. Not going to fight. Oh, wow. What is going on right here? Early caustic barrels holding off a team. Some solid damage going out. Caustic can technically push this. Not a whole lot of guns, though. Good crack. Good damage. The caustic might be able to push out and make a play. They're slowing it down, making sure that they're playing together. Man, they got contested right off drop there. Is the other team backing out? Looks like they're backing out. Holding for the teammate. Nice damage. Fantastic damage while they were getting caught out there. That was really good hold, by the way. That's the stuff you want to see from your teammates. That's what makes a good teammate right there. Be the teammate you want your teammates to do for you. Like, you know, that right there, that hold was fantastic. I love to see that. Getting a little distracted from loot. Don't get too distracted from loot. Never a good thing. You can always come back for it. Always be there. There's another fight happening across the map as we're watching this, but I can tell they're trying to int this and take this out. And it looks like one person's caught out because they got the knock. So they're just trying to shove this. Let's take a look to see if there's any other fights. We did mention this one right here, but it looks like they're running away and repositioning as well. Luckily, they can always just get the banner. Which is what they're doing. Mari's holding for his teammate. Holding for Adam. So pretty solid. No other damage is really taking place right now. Everyone's pretty playing respectfully besides, oh, we're seeing a little bit of a little early fighting here. Trying to get them out. They got to go across here. They can keep moving. This is okay to hold this off angle. Just as long as they don't shove them or isolate them out. But they do have a good cross. I would keep pushing forward. Grab that. It's not a bad thing to grab that battery. And they're going to back out. Fuse pressure is always real. See where this team is at. They're just holding their angles here, waiting to see if they can create an opening. Let's make sure we're not missing any other fights. It looks like everything seems to be. It seems like this is the only fight going on in the lobby right now. There it is. They're going to shove him right now. This is what they're looking for right here. A lot of damage. The Mouse Bros has to move out of that. He's got to trust his teammates are going to push up for him. Good armor swap. Got to let his teammates push for him. Can't get take too much damage. They are holding. They are waiting for an opportunity, but the other team looks like they're trying to back out. No, they're keeping up the pressure. There is no backing out from them. There they go. Okay, now they're backing out. But now the fuse is going to get caught out. Trying to dodge that. Unfortunately, gets hit by the flames and gets caught in the queue. Now they have the information that they need for this push. Really solid information on their part. Unfortunately, one of them drops down. That loses all their pressure right there. A lot of pressure loss, unfortunately. And they decide to rotate. Unfortunately, they had a lot of pressure, but they're losing a lot of resources. A lot of resources lost. We do see another team flying in. They're rotating out. They should get out. I don't think they'll get beamed. We'll find out. Team 16's rotating, trying to find a good angle. Oh, Mocat took a lot of damage despite having a charge rifle. He got cracked almost instantaneously. He's making a play, holding for his teammates. Well, all of them rotate. They should be okay. This team's putting a lot of pressure at range. Nita's got a 3x on the Rampage. They're really pushing just about everything that they see. Syndicality's got the forward front push here. This is a pretty good squad against, again, another good squad. They're hunkering down. They're waiting. As long as they don't get caught out, they should be okay. Taking out the doors, breaching. Got to be careful. It is taking a little slow, but they do definitely have some space to work with here. There's not another team, so they got to work fast, though. They can't take too long. Oh, Octane got caught out, gets knocked, and there's the fight right there. Octane was just caught out just a little bit on the rotation. They move forward on it. I get what the play was to find an off angle, but unfortunately just got caught out. And he decides to move out for rotation because at this point that fight is lost. So Notch just going to give it to them for free. Another team is probably going to run up on them. And there they go. They see this third party. They don't know that it's pretty much over, but they're going to move up on it. Full team versus full team here. I know I can turn on highlights. You know, one thing I haven't done is turning on highlights and everything. I should have been turning those on. Well, I will learn for next time. I unfortunately don't have the right keyboard plugged in. If I have some notes for myself, we turn on highlights. But as you can tell, it's not, let's see, you know what, we can try to keybind it. Let's try to do that live. Let's see here. I should have done this much sooner. Let's see. There they are. So you can see where they're at on the other side. It's not make or break, but it is really nice to be able to see what they're dealing with by turning that on. Let's see, make sure I have it on. Yep, higher player tags, next ring. Oh, we can also see where next ring. They've added some changes here. I should have done a little bit more homework here. Good morning, Rob. It's great to have you here. If you guys enjoying the stream, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. We're doing a masterclass today. It's going very, very well. Everyone's playing it very, very serious. They have their spot. They honestly have game-winning spot here. I think it might actually pull here. Let's see if we can keybind a little bit more. Look at third-person view. It's been a while since I've shoutcasted, guys, so it's pretty fun to kind of see the changes that they made since I've even casted. The fact that you even have this menu here is pretty amazing. I think that's really, really cool. Then we can at least see next ring player tags. Let's see here. Let's change some of this stuff up, shall we? Next ring visibility. We can do. Let's do this, and then for player tags we can do. Oh. Okay. Might be a little too much, but I think it's fine. It's probably going to be crazy once the end zone happens. I may turn them off then. So at least you can see the HP. Something I should have considered, but nonetheless, we've been getting the point across. Little things that I should have realized that I've kind of forgotten about. They're rotating on the south side here. This is a nice rotation by Crony's team, finding a nice little angle here and getting to a new spot. Let's take a look at where the next zone is going into. Next ring. There we go. We can see the next ring. Look at that. That's really cool. I don't know we could do that. Good evening from Belgium. It's great to have you here. Hopefully you're doing well. So the next ring is going to pull here. Remember how I said this was pretty close to game-winning spot with Mokes team? It looks like they've decided to rotate over here instead to hold this building. So they're going to play it pretty sweaty. Any teams that are fighting outside of zone, everyone's just kind of rotating in. There's still 20 teams that are alive, by the way. Still 20 teams. Not a whole lot of damage has been going out in the lobby. We're trying to capture whatever next fight's going to happen. I guarantee it's probably going to happen more in Lava Siphon as everyone tends to move in. We do have a team that's watching the back and watching the front. So they're definitely taking the advice and watching for different angles and where they believe teams are going to be located from. There's one person on the left there. Oh, there's the ult. Oh, got hit again. That's some brutal damage. At least his teammates know to come back to watch. There's a team located on height, but at least they are close to zone. We got a little bit of a cluster located here. The other team had no idea this other team was located up here. Ballistic's ult definitely goes crazy with it. Making some pushing, a little bit of pushing power here. They got 53 seconds though. Around probably the 20-second mark, got to consider zone because at that point, I mean, they will get caught out. Hard building to push. This other team kind of saw the opportunity, decided to rotate for free. Don't have much to worry about there. Pretty solid. Now this team is fighting a full squad versus full squad though, and they have about give or take now 30 seconds, and they're rotating out. Man, and like I said, that zone, especially when teams are really taking this seriously and everything, how important it realistically is. And also just making sure that you're occupying space in the area that you're trying to hold is very, very important. Let's take a look. I love that fuse skin, by the way. I love the hands, how they're glowing. That's really cool. Sorry to get sidetracked by that. This team has decided just to keep shoving through. They are showing no respect for the lobby. They are burning through. We did see one team get eliminated. Probably was a rat. I didn't see in the kill feed where that happened, so we'll just keep going. This team, they're about to run on top of each other. They have no idea the other team's located right behind them. But, I mean, there's no reason to watch your back if you're going to keep shoving forward. But at least have the plan and where you plan to go next. All right, so they see them located there. They're split. That is a big split there. Now they know that they're located there by themselves. Oh, Vantage got hit very, very hard, unfortunately. Has to pop a med kit. Might overpeak here. Might get knocked. Trying to avoid that extra damage. It could honestly get hit right here. And now they're completely sidetracked by a whole different team located right side of zone. And they get away for free. A little bit of a sidetrack there, unfortunately. When you're looking to say, okay, you know, we got distracted. I don't think they realized how isolated they really were. The reason why we're not looking at the teams in zone is that realistically there shouldn't be too much pressure here to worry about. Look at Crony. I don't know sure how he got eliminated. Looks like he got caught out. His box is located there. I think he was just going for a peek. Got punished for it. Crony, don't make that mistake. A lot of teams holding out. Remember I said this was going to be the north side. It's probably going to become the biggest issue. Well, now we know that's why it's going to become the biggest issue. Because everyone's occupying space here, and everyone has to crunch into this next zone. It's going to get really, really intense and really, really packed. I think he wants to level up his armor. Dropping armors. There you go. Good tip. When you see a lot of teammates dropping armors, it's in case you get pushed, you have a quick swap in case they decide to push your building. That's a really good tip that you see there, actually being used in real time. Especially when these lobbies are super sweaty like this. It's nice to see a ballistic in play. Ballistic is really, really strong for pushing. Oh, we got a fight here. The Seer ult is out. They do know where they're located, and they got the jump on them. The Maggie Ball definitely slows them down. It's definitely hard to see. Thermal Heat has to pop a battery while his teammates hold for them. There's the first knock. Tin Man has to move up forward on this at this point. He's got to help his teammates out. He's trying to put the pressure. The other teammates are from a distance there poking pressure. Sometimes it's good to let the other team put the pressure so they're able to help you. And they decide to back out from this. Sometimes it's good just to let the other team put the pressure. If you start shooting the other team running up, what are they going to do? They're going to start shooting you. So who is the immediate threat is going to be the team that you essentially want to get knocked. You can be quote-unquote teammates for a little bit until you assess where the danger is again. So it looks like they've backed out from that. No real pressure there. They're coexisting here for a little bit. A team fighting here. Looks like they've gotten out. That was a fast rotation on Rigid's part just to get out. There is a team just kind of chilling right now. I guess they had a hard rotation from zone. They're trying to get healthy. Let's take a look at the zone again. Look, we got some teams rotating. Crony's team is getting pushed, probably because of the res. It looks like they managed to get the res off. They want them out of this lobby, and they're going to be able to occupy that space, take out the ult, very fast in taking out the ult, able to rotate. Crony does go down, unfortunately, and King is holding it for his team. He has a nice off angle here to hold for his team. There's still 19 squads alive. He decides to back out completely. I would honestly recommend at that point, I know that you need to heal, but you got to be within range of your teammates. At that point, I think if they were there, they could have actually probably done a bit more. Now, your goal is to really just get out, but there's not going to be a whole lot of space to run to unless you hide underneath. This other team is fighting now. So I think if a King was closer by and had confidence with his teammates, I think it would have been okay. But because he backed out, you know, we get put in a scenario. See how his team is rezzing? If he was there, what this could have turned into, right? But because he's too far away, it's harder to get that reset potential that they're looking for, which causes this scenario. Have faith in your teammates. Don't necessarily just run and reposition when you know that you can be there for them. Very big tip. I know it's hard to have confidence because you're not the one in control, and it's very scary to give away that control. Looks like Ina's all by themselves here. They've gotten some good kills under their belt. A little Watson that could, moving him, ducking and weaving. Lobus queuing up on the roof, pushing forward onto them. And now they're fighting instead. Other team's just in it right there. Let's see if we can get a different POV. They're rezzing. They managed to clean it up. We're trying to get into that POV. I just couldn't for the life of me get there. Let's take a look here. The team is underneath. The duo squad is dropping down on the team from there. They're getting caught out in the open. Definitely needed to heal behind cover first and assess where they needed to heal before actually healing. The team up above definitely sees where the pressure is taking place. They decide to drop because they have the advantage. And there's pretty much the cleanup. One of them decides to run, and they're pretty much securing this lobby. So pretty solid place, pretty solid kills. The zone is pulling here for the end zone. As you can see, this is where the end zone is going to pull. They're rotating on the opposite end. They do have a rat who's falling right behind, putting some pressure just to scare them. I don't know if they know that it's a rat. Some solid nades, some solid pressure, and decides to back out. Pretty much warning him to say, hey, don't come this direction. This team now has all of the opportunities there. That's pretty crazy to see. Oh, there's the res. Oh, they're gonna get run up on. It's over. GG's. It's over. Good try on the res. It's hard to res, especially with the zone being this small and this tight. There's just not going to be a whole lot of playing room at that point. No matter how skilled you are, you're just not going to be able to beat a whole team of 3, right? Duo squad holding here. Oh, we got a team fighting. That was the rat. That was the Bangalore. They decided to rotate. They found him. They located him. They're holding pressure here. They're going to occupy space inside. They see the fences, but the team, this is Mokad's team, is going to have a hard time with Uncle B as well as Pyre. Are going to have a hard time holding this between two squads. The team on height is holding them out, but they got to go to zone. The team located down below is just getting picked on. And we also have another duo squad located here. The goal is just to get to zone and then gate one team out. They could definitely look on the left and try to gate the team on the far left. We do have a fight of coexisting, it looks like, over here from the roof and everything. Oh, man, this zone, I think they're gone. I honestly think, ooh, man, that's really close. Oh, no. Oh, man. That was very, very close. They did find some space, but, man, that was a very, very close ult. That could have gone south very, very quickly. We see in the building, the best thing they can do is try to hold different angles, try to occupy space best they can. Uncle B, unfortunately, gets caught out the open. His teammate's trying to cover for him, but unfortunately there's too many crosses to hold. Now they're down a teammate, and they're worried about where they need to focus. You might be able to have him here. Reloads his gun, puts a bunch of pressure down, knocks one. If they keep shoving through, they might be able to get this. But then they have to worry about the team located right behind them. Good cleanup. But now there's another team pushing right forward onto them. They could get this. This is a little tight. Got an armor swap. Fast armor swap across the board. Fighting teams out. A lot of pressure. Oh, man. He might go back for his armor swap again. I think is he out of heavy? There's the ult. I'll leave for some pressure. 70. 70. Getting that pressure with that bow. Reloads. Only got one more mag. This pressure is insane from Mocat here. Oh, man. He ultimately does go down. That was an insane fight, though. Insane amount of pressure. It's not over yet because the Watson still could come in and clutch this. Trying to find an angle. Trying to hold. Don't let him breathe too much. Essentially, they could get the res and reset. And there it is. This might be it for a poor little Watson friend. A lot of solid damage, but just not enough. That was a really close fight. At least they did push in. They found their angle. We got a new kill leader left in the lobby. This other team decided to fight while we're watching the other team. It looks like they're about to get mopped up, and the Vantage does go for the cleanup. The zone hurts, though. So they have to leave for the zone right away. They don't even have time for a res in this scenario. They're pretty much just knocked. So it's sometimes good to get the cleanup, but unfortunately, I mean, you have no time to res your teammates. That's pretty much it. This team has every opportunity to win. They're dropping. They're right on top of them. Now it's becoming a cluster. They got to watch out for zone. They're getting gated. Now, honestly, from the troop here, this is their game. They could win this. All they got to do is just play it safe, play it patient, because they're dealing with a team that is knocked and then a solo. There's no reason why they should lose this fight. Vantage putting some pressure. They don't know that it's just a solo. They got to be able to identify and figure out what's going on here. And there it is. Now you got a 1v1 versus, or sorry, 1v1 versus a full squad. So Vantage is putting a lot of pressure on them. Once the zone closes, they have to move. Good Watson gen. So you keep up the pokes up. Running a little low on resources. This is the end game. Honestly, the troops should win this one. They should have this. It's going to be close, though. Calm before the storm. It's the end here. Quick hit. Don't want to get hit on the rotation. Can put the pressure. Saw a little bit of lag there. Uh-oh. Hopefully. As long as they wait, they don't need to get greedy. I know it's easier said than done. It's like just shove one of them. But listen, if you just want to secure the win, you want to secure the win. You know what I mean? What if they push and one of them gets one magged and then they get shot in the back and then it just gets really chaotic? And there they go. They got Digi. All right, time to push. They got it. GG's should be it. There we go. GG's. Good game. Good game. All right, everybody. What we're going to do next is we're going to do the breakdown. But because we've reached about the 3-hour mark on stream, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end stream. I'm going to let everyone who attended the course give them all their time. We pretty much got the breakdown of everything. But again, I appreciate everyone who was a part, who hung out. Day 1 and day 2, just fantastic results. Hopefully everyone learned a lot from it. I've been seeing the feedback was definitely very positive. I mean, yeah, it was a lot of talking, hopefully a lot of tips, a lot of in-the-moment discussion about everything. But we go again. So I'm going to drag everyone up. I'm going to go and end stream. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And I'm going to sit down with everybody next, and we're going to break down what we saw in the round and so forth. So appreciate everybody, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.